What's up, guys? Main man Sui here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and it's time for another tier list by me. I thought I was done with this stuff, but then we got out of nowhere, not a Season 5, but a patch 5.0, which significantly changed the tiers. A lot of characters got huge nerfs, characters you'd usually find in the top 10, what we like to call the DLC row, so the top row of... it's kind of funny actually, for the longest time with this game, all you had to do was open character select, look at the DLC row, so the top row, and fittingly those were the top tiers. They all belonged at the top. So it's really good. I requested this for a long time, like please, Tekken devs, give us a final patch, take some of those down, but unfortunately they missed some of the characters. Akuma remains unchanged, unfortunately, and these two did not get nerfed, but I'm sure we will see another patch that nerfs them, hopefully. But so this is going to be a 5.0 tier list by me, might be the final tier list. We'll see if we get additional patches, but really looking forward to talking about the characters here. I just want a disclaimer that this is my opinion. I placed all of those characters like that, so this is just my opinion. And this is going to be a long video, because I hate watching tier lists where people put them out and they say, oh, Katarina has a bad down forward 1, but she has a hop kick. Oh, Claudio has the best hop kick in the game. He goes there. Akuma can do EXDP invincibility. He's the best character. I don't know how many of those tier lists I watch, and I'm sitting there like dumbfounded, like, okay, so that's how you choose to explain a character to me. You say, Kazuya has a strong electric. Okay, tells me nothing. So I'm going to spend a few hours here talking about these characters because I feel a lot goes into these characters. So it takes a while to explain why they're strong, and they're all very different from each other. And I feel like everyone watching this video deserves to hear a few things about their character. I feel like that's just a sign of respect. And this is a very complicated game. And I also want to stress that my tier list is probably going to look very different to other people's tier lists. Again, it's a very, very complicated game. This character was seen as mid-tier for 2.5 years when he was much stronger than he is today. His forward 4 was a counter hit launcher. He did even more damage in his combos. He gained meter much faster, and he was seen as mid-tier for 2.5 years. That is how complicated this game is. So yeah, I just want to stress that you know, my tier list might look very different to someone else's, and it's because who knows really. There are a few things we know, but it's like Leo there, but that's in my top 10-11 now. That's a character I've been underrating for a long time, but hopefully we can talk about this stuff today. So that was my 3-minute intro. So now I'm going to start, and I'm just gonna go from the top and work my way down, as we always do. So Akuma, yeah, dodge, robbed everyone. Was top 1, arguably, prior to this patch, and then unchanged. They nerfed his Demon Flip free, which was his counter hit launching option from Demon Flip. But other than that, he remains the same. Oh, I'm lying now. They gave him, for some reason, like, Akuma is the most oppressive character in the game at the wall. You could even say in the neutral, but at the wall, he is complete fucking bullshit. There's no other way of putting that. He has a 50-50 at the wall that does like 80% if he has 2 bars. That's an unseeable 50-50. If he wall combos you, he can jump over you to do a cross up with Tatsu, or he does a demon flip, lands at your back, does the 4 option, hits you in the back, and then 4 free into death combo. No other character is better at the wall, and they gave him a while running 1 wall crush that puts him at, I think, like plus 17 on block. So this is where I'm just, again, dumbfounded. Why do you give that character a plus 17 on guard at the wall? But in general, Akuma, I think he's the best character in the game. He has a 50-50 where the low option is what? Unseeable low launcher, that's +7 on block. You just hear that and you're like, okay, unseeable low launcher +7 on block. Something doesn't add up. It's like he breaks every rule in Tekken. He does cross-ups that launch you. He can do an invincible DP, but he can throw from -9 and hit you. You can see in tournaments how much mileage top players get out of that. He has the 2D jump. Geese also has this jump, but I believe Akuma goes even higher than Geese. That jump is completely broken. Will jump over you. He can do a jump into a fly kick, the 4 option, that's heavy plus on block. If that kick connects, he kills you. If he has meter, you die. He can launch you from 10 frames if he has meter. He can do a down 2, which is a 12 frame mid that launches you. Yeah. So he actually blocks a low that's -12 and he launches you if he has meter. And on top of all of this, he even has a decent neutral with decent pokes. Like forward 3, down forward 1, forward 4. He has a really good low in down 4. Super fast knockdown. Yeah, so just in short with Akuma, if there are walls around, he is unbelievably broken. Super overpowered. Which is why anyone who knows what they're doing, if you're playing against an Akuma, you will select an infinite map stage. You will do that, because otherwise that matchup is... It's so heavily rigged against you, it's hard to describe. But even on an infinite map, that character has the dumbest 50-50 in the game with meter. The dumbest 50-50. And the super dumb 2D jump. And on top of this, a pretty damn decent neutral. Oh, and his power crush, you know, the focus attack. Crazy stupid. Yeah. And can pressure you from afar with a fireball. Yeah. And launches you at 10 frames. The character is super dumb. Very, very difficult to play. But in my opinion... top 1 if you have the execution. So now we're gonna go to Feng Wei, a character. I'm gonna release a video on Feng Wei soon. I've already made one where I explain why he's a big problem now, and then I'm gonna make another video. A lot of people think that, oh, he's another Akuma. He's been like this since season 1, super strong. He was basically the same in season 1, and now he's been discovered. This is not the case. Significant buffs season 3, significant buffs season 4, and season 4 changed him because he used to be a character that had like bad combos. This game has only become more and more like combo oriented. You'll notice in season 3 everyone got like infinite wall travel and everyone got bigger wall combos. Season 3 and season 4. Feng Wei used to have really bad wall carry. Very non-flexible combos due to really bad bound options. Season 4, they gave him down forward 4-3, which is suddenly like one of the best bounds in the game. Just completely changed the character. And now like he, like everyone else, had, you know, crazy combos, and you combine that with, you know, this wall combo where he goes down back 1+2 elbow into shoulder. And it just has really, really strong wall options. But yeah, good pokes were always there, but you know, they kept buffing those as well. While standing 1, forward 2, etc. But in short, so again, this character now has really good combos. One of the best wall combos in the game. I mean, if not the best, with forward 3 shoulder. Granted, that only works on larger male characters. But yeah, in short, Kempo and its options, super strong, has super strong poking, the best lows in the game, in my opinion. Down back 3, over buffed. And just in the neutral, back four is a 12-frame homing mid. Super strong. Has a ridiculous 50-50. Sidestep 4, down forward 3. His punch parry is ridiculous. I don't know why it's -12 when he has 1 million amazing moves that end in -7. All he needs is -7 to set up that parry. Ridiculously good. Back one, you know, 10 frames. Counter it knockdown into shoulder. Yeah, and his down forward 1 is super strong. While stunning 1-1 is such a good sequence. The character kind of has everything. And the problem is he does everything really well. Up for 2 is arguably the best evasive attack in the game. It's basically like Jin's up for 2, but on steroids. He takes a much bigger step. And it's safe. I don't know why. Yeah. Feng Wei hits like a truck. Has some of the best evasive options in the game. Has some of the best pokes in the game. Has really good combos now. That's what's used to hold him back. Yeah, he's just insanely strong. In weaknesses, we can say that, well, his hop kick is kind of bad. But I think that's it. Super strong character. And then we have Zafina. Zafina has the best movement in the game. And movement is very important in Tekken. So she has Tekken 5 movement. Tekken 5 was known for ridiculous movement. She has that in Tekken 7. When she sidewalks, she takes really big steps. And her hurt box is suddenly like rail thin. It's very hard to hit her when she's stepping. And her backdash is absolutely ridiculous. So now you combine that with insane evasiveness built into attacks that are really good. Like her down 3, she rolls on the ground, goes really low, does a low that you can't react to, that is -13 and a counter hit launcher. Like they've combined the best movement in the game with really good buttons, attacks. Her trade-off used to be really good movement and evasiveness, but she would have the worst frames in Tag 2 and Tekken 6. She would be low tier. The frames were so bad. But for some reason in Tekken 7, I don't know if it's the DLC effect, but they give her really good attacks. Like forward 3, forward 4, down 3. Super long range down for 2. That is 16. It's not 15. But combined with that movement, it's just, it's pretty ridiculous. And they also really stepped up her combos. Does a lot of damage. But yeah, in short, really, really strong attacks. Great counter hit launchers. Good poking. Combined with the best movement in the game. And you have like, yeah, something ultra powerful with Zafina. But again, if the movement wasn't enough, insane built-in defense on almost any button you press, basically. And a huge strength to Zafina that a lot of people don't factor in is that she's like the least played character in the game almost. So that people still are such question marks going up against her that her Snake Edge is actually viable in tournament play. So the high degree of unfamiliarity combined with very weird animations still, you know, help her out quite a bit. You see this effect quite a bit on Lucky Chloe as well. And now we're at Jin. So Jin I rate in top 5. Super strong character that has everything, like literally everything. He's held back a little bit by execution, but I still see Jin as pretty perfect. He got a very notable nerf actually here in patch 5.0, and it's that the same nerf was applied to Kazuya. You take a key move out of these characters and you give it on hit this wall crush effect, even on counter hit. And this was a pretty lazy way, in my opinion, of nerfing them. So Jin's while standing free used to be a super strong attack. And now that move has been nerfed a lot, because now all it does on normal hit and counter hit is give you this wall crush property. So his while standing free used to wall splat. It used to counter it launch. It used to on hit spin them around for a 50-50 or pressure situation. Now it does none of that. So that's a big nerf. But that's a character that still has some of the best counter hit options in the game. This guy is just an infinite amount of like counter hit launchers and counter hit utility. And I mean, arguably the best counter hit in the game in forward 4. You might not think it's the best counter hit move in the game, but if someone said to me, I believe forward 4 is the best counter hit attack in the game, I wouldn't say they're crazy. I'm like, yeah, you could certainly say that. It's up there. And yeah, I'm not going to go into forward 4 and how, you know, you can do it on its own. You can do it into Zen. It's like it has built-in mix-ups as well. But yeah, this character has everything. He has an electric, he has a demon paw, he has a launching hell sweep. He has, you know, 50-50s. He has crazy strings. He has crazy stance pressure. He has amazing punishment. I find his punishment to be better than Kazuya's. It's extremely reliable. He has the best parry in the game by far. Jin's parry is broken. The only thing this character lacks is he has reach problems. Like anytime he blocks something that's -10 or -12, there's a good chance he might miss due to pushback on block. But I mean, other than that, it's like, you know, here you can say, well, if he blocks a get up 4, right? He might not reach with 1+2. I think he can still do forward 3, but that's a pretty weak punish. But yeah, he can still do his parry into can. I don't know. Jin to me is kind of perfect, but a character that famously does super bad online. Jin players and Jin mains are busy and ranked taking L's, huge L's, all the time. The only character that performs worse is Yoshimitsu. These are bottom 2 in online win ratio. And that might sound weird considering he's up here, right, on a tier list, in my opinion. But this is just testament to the skill needed to play him. Insanely high execution, and also a character with a complicated game plan where you have a million moves in your move list, and everything is kind of viable and fits a certain situation. So you have to master all of those attacks, assemble them into a package, and now you're playing, you know, optimal Jin. So unbelievably difficult to play, but super strong. So now I'm going to discuss Devil Jin, and he is fittingly right next to Jin on this tier list, still top 5. A character that got huge nerfs in this patch. Huge nerfs. So now you might find it weird that, what? He doesn't have an overpowered wall combo anymore, but does 27 damage into Oki. He doesn't have an up forward 4 anymore for a brain dead 50-50. Knockdown, up forward 4 into back 4. This was nerfed, right? It doesn't knock down anymore. So you might be like, what? I thought this character was dead. You're crazy, main man. He's top 5. I still think he's top 5. Electric remains kind of broken. Kind of broken. You know, it's the same with Kazuya. That electric is kind of stupid. +5 on block. Launches naturally. Huge reach. Can dash into it. For some reason, tracks to both sides. His electric tracks the most. Tracks more than Kazuya's and Heihachi's. Still dumb. He still has a launching hell sweep, but doesn't give back to 1 anymore on a stage with walls. But still does really good damage. Still has Demon Paw. Still has a Wild Stunning 2, but tracks to opposite side of his hell sweep for that Waivu mix-up. Still has a very strong jab. Down forward 1-2 for poking. Back 4 for Oki. He still has ridiculous space control with laser cannon. A lot of people don't know this, but that's used to lock down opponents so they don't step you. Up 4 is still a ridiculously good panic tool. Down forward 2 is a counter hit mid launcher. His punishment is stupid good. Devil Jin is still really, really strong, in my opinion. Yeah, I still think he's super strong. The problem with Devil Jin was that he was overpowered. He used to be overpowered. Now he's just really, really good, in my opinion. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee. So now we are with Julia Chang, another character that saw significant nerfs this patch. Like really, really big nerfs. I think the biggest nerf was removing her 50-50 mix-up situation after a Hell Sweep. Well, Hell Sweep, bow and arrow, so it's full crouch, down forward 4 free. Now it knocks them away, right? But they still didn't make it stagger on block. Forward 1+2 is no longer a wall bounce. God, what else did they nerf? I think those were the biggest nerfs. Oh, right. Yeah, she doesn't counter at launch anymore with forward 3 or dash in stance. The low option, forward 3, 4. All right, and while standing free doesn't knock down anymore. And is no longer a counter at launcher. It used to counter at launch. Yeah, but while standing free nerf is huge as well. But she still has a pretty damn stupid neutral. Party Crasher forward 1-4 is still a top 10 attack. That's unchanged. I think it's one of the best attacks in the game. It is, if you do it as quickly as possible, it's what, a 12 frame mid elbow, so it can't be countered. That has insane reach. Tracks to both sides. Is -2 on block. And she can add a counter at launching high to it. That move is so dumb, you could write a book about it, I feel. So neutral monster has a magic 4 as well, but she can add a low to. She can add a second hit to pretty much everything. So against Julia, it's always like, oh, it's a bit like Bryan, where you block an attack and you're like, is he done? Is she done? Or is she gonna add a counter at launching follow-up to this? While running 1, still super good. Her 50-50s are still super good. Both of the Hell Sweeps. War Drums is still there. She still has great whiff punish with down forward 2-1. Oh, right. Forward 3 got nerfed in damage. And thank God for that. But her combos are still amazing. So they nerfed her wall combo, you know, the jump poof, into forward 3. I think they nerfed the damage on the jump and the forward 3. But she still does amazing damage. And her wall game, her throw game is still there with mad axes and a 1+2 2 break. And she still has a down forward 1, but on crouch gets down forward 3, 1+2. She still has a lot of amazing stuff. It's a bit the thing with Julia. It was a little bit like Devil Jin, where it was you were overpowered. So now we're taking you down a notch, but you're still super good. So I think the consensus on Julia is going to be that she's still really, really good. It's just that she was ridiculous. So now Geese. So now we are again, and it's funny like how I've talked about 3 characters here who you would hear a lot like, oh, these characters are dead now, because Geese also got huge nerfs this patch. So again, sidestep 3 no longer is a counter hit launcher. It doesn't even knock down on counter hit for a free stand up die. What it does now is it's a bit like, you know, if Kazuya hits you with down back 4 on counter hit, you stagger. Ah, my knee! And Geese gets what, plus 15 or something. It's basically a free mix-up situation. The biggest nerf, however, was his down for 2 got castrated. His down for 2 was a very, very strong space control tool. A long range homing mid that on hit would spin them for a mix-up. Here you could do like another down for 2 to see if they duck or whatever, or press a button. You could start pressuring with down for 1. But no, and it would, you know, wall splat at the wall. You have no idea how oppressive a fast homing mid is that wall splats at the wall. It's just, you know, that did a lot for his wall pressure. And again, it was a counter hit launcher. So now they killed that attack. Now whenever that hits, it's wall crush no matter what. Wall crush in neutral. Plus 11, but here it's plus 11 on paper. In reality, that's no plus 11 because boom, plus 11, but they take like 3 steps back. You can't do anything with that. If you try to run in there and do something, it's like you might get magic forward or whatever. And no counter hit launch, no wall splat. They killed that attack. That's the biggest nerf. But then also, huge nerf is mid parry. He used to get a standing 2, right? Into his trademark, you know, standing 2 forward 1, max mode, standing 2 forward 1, moon slicer. Oh, you died. I won the round. From a mid parry. So my boy, like, I love Geese. He took gigantic nerfs. But again, I've been very open about this. He was completely overpowered. Why did he have a mid parry that went into a 15 frame standing 2 that kills you? Why was that ever a thing? Like, without meter, you had your back towards the wall, mid parry, oh, you're at the wall, standing 2. Even without meter, it hurt like crazy. And that's sidestep free. Are you kidding me? A low that's plus 4 on hit. Does decent damage, minus 12 on block, and it's a counter hit launcher without meter. But all the crazy stuff this character had or has, you want that to be a counter hit launcher without meter. That character that kills you from a standing 2 should have the best low in the game without meter. Like that was the problem. It's like you can't have that character have such crazy neutral tools or fundamental tools like without meter. It just doesn't work. And that's what they seem to have figured out. Like, his meter stuff is so broken, and it still is, that you can't have a launching mid parry for 60-70%. You can't have, without meter, a low launcher that's minus 12 on counter hit. It's like, can't have that or that down for it too. So with all of those big nerfs, he still remains that dumb. And why is that? Because he still has a completely overpowered jump. That 2D jump is one of the strongest mechanics in the game, but a lot of people don't get that. He can jump over a down forward 1 into you die. You die when he does that fly kick into standing 2. You know, with meter, you're dead. And if you block, he does a kick and now he's like plus 4, plus 5. The 2D jump remains completely busted. And they removed down forward 2. They removed sidestep free. Sidestep free is still super strong. Still super strong. His down forward 1 is still super good. His jab is still super good and special cancelable. He still has an above average sidestep, a very strong sidestep where if he sees you whiffing, standing 2, forward 1, max mode, 2 forward 1, moon slicer, that's still there. A character that does one sidestep into a 15 frame mid for 70% and wall to wall on almost any map, wall to wall from that standing 2. How is that not top tier? Still has amazing pokes. Still has a counter it launching, standing 4, forward 4, down 4. And so many other amazing pokes and tools. And Reppuken. The parry still launches you if he has meter with back 3-2. Back 3-2 is still amazing. His max mode pressure is still crazy. His orbital is still crazy good. I don't see that character. He got huge nerfs, but again, testament to how strong Geese was, or overpowered, that even with these nerfs, I think he's still top 10. And now we are at Marduk. Marduk, one of the big winners of this patch. He got a little... I really expected nerfs, but he got a little slap on the wrist. It's like, oh, Marduk, your rage drive does 10 damage less now on the initial hit. 10 damage less. It's gone from 35 to 25. But you know what? You still get a tackle mix-up with unscaled damage. So I don't know why that is still there. It is so stupid. It's, again, I'm gonna use the word mind-boggling. Any launch that dude gets when he's in rage, I mean, if he gets that tackle mix-up, I mean, even his weakest launcher, I think if he gets that mix-up, it's like 70%. Because his combo damage is already very high, even without that rage drive into tackle mix-up. Best comeback ability in the game, I would say. All he needs is a counter hit or is super long reaching down for 1 and you are dead. If he doesn't want to take a risk, he will do his 1+2 shove. But safe on block and on counter hit, he gets a free down for 1. So best rage drive in the game, in my opinion. Completely ridiculous. Best comeback ability in the game. Best Oki in the game. By far. Like, if you think this guy has good Oki, he also has that 50-50. But he also has a launching ground throw. A ground throw that slams you into the ground for 35 damage. He has, you know, you tech roll. He can go into his absolutely awesome throw game with a 1 break, 2 break, 1+2 break that launches. Has really good counter hit utility. Better poking than you think. Down 3 is a really chunky low poke. Punch parry that goes into tackle. Really good homing moves. Back 2 very strong. Forward 4. Used to have bad punishment, and then they gave him one of the best 12-frame punishes in the game. Upward 1-2. Works standing, works crouching. So again, that dude sidestep free. If Marduk crouches and blocks that sidestep free, he can do his standing punish. Upward 1-2 for like what? 35 damage plus 6 plus 7 forcing crouch. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and his tackle. You know, tackle from standing. But also, you know, goes into his Oki. Damage is broken. Completely broken. It's better to talk about his weaknesses. Like, no generic down for 1. Sluggish poking. All his moves are a bit sluggish. He needs a couple of frames to get going. So he's a little bit weak under pressure. But... yeah, other than that, Marduk is an absolute monster. Absolute monster. Has weaknesses, but the problem is his strengths are so fucking over the top, fucking broken, that who cares about the weaknesses? He makes up for it so hard. Yeah, Marduk's super strong. Worst while standing in the game. Oh, you mean his launcher? 18 frames while standing free. Yeah, you could say that. But as I just mentioned, for some reason, they gave him upward 1-2. A ridiculously powerful punisher that he can do from crouching, right? So I wouldn't say he has the worst while standing, because that punish is so stupid. So stupid. And again, you know what he does at 13 frames? when he blocks Dragunov's down 2. Like, Dragunov does not like fighting Marduk. You can ask JDCR. You do a down 2, I mean, he can still low parry it, but if he blocks that down 2, he does while standing 4, a knee that knocks him to the ground, and here comes Marduk Oki, and it's not fun. It's not fun. Marduk's while standing punishment is not weak. It is not weak. Yeah, JDCR, please confirm. But I'm sure you would agree with me. So where are we now? I'm gonna take a sip of water. My Alzheimer's brain, you know, it needs fluid. Paul. Yeah. I don't know how much I need to talk about Paul. So what are Paul's weaknesses? A little bit sluggish in the poking department. Feels a little bit like a legacy character when it comes to the pokes. Like down 1, Hammer Fist. You know, you'll see a lot of legacy characters have a similar attack. Well, now it's... Used to be Jack used to have it as well, but now it's basically Paul and Heihachi. The legacy... I'm gonna hit you with my over the head little slam fist, hammer fist. That's like what, -9 on block. It's like very dated. His down forward 1 is, you know, not amazing. His jab is not amazing. But his down forward 1 can still sway cancel into some pretty ridiculous stuff. He has one of the best low pokes in Kurosoko forward 3. Which is, let's analyze this low that you'll see all the Paul players do. It's -14 on blocks, so you'll be a bit careful around like Bob, Master Raven, Kazuya, Jit. You know, characters that can launch at 13-14. But if you're not facing one of those characters, you have a super long range low that evades highs, some mids, does good damage, tracks to both sides really well, on counter hit gives a free demo man, or if you're Knee or another player with great execution, you can do an instant while standing free 2 into a combo. And back 4 is a good low, sidestep 3 is a really good low poke, but on counter hit gives, you know, back 1-2 or a shoulder. Can you even say his poking is weak? I mean, yeah, I guess considering how ridiculous some other characters are in the poking department in the top 10, you could say that, but it's really not that bad. So his down for 2 is completely broken. It's top 10 attacks in the game. White recovers so fast on whiff. White has the tracking it has. Why does it beat jabs? Why is it -8 on block? Some of the best counter hit utility in the game. Down for 2 is a counter hit move in my opinion. You heard about Kurosoko forward 3, sidestep 3. Kurosoko back 4, one of the best space control moves in the game. Together with up back 2 could be mentioned, you know, where it's very chunky, break your fucking ribs up back 2. But Kurosoko back 4 is a very long range homing high that's +1 on block and counter hit launches. It's super strong. That's also a move that should always be mentioned with the best counters in the game. It's super strong. His damage is super high if he counter hits you with some of these moves. You've probably seen Paul's damage. He has a very, very threatening 50-50, especially at the wall. Especially against certain characters who really don't punish Death Fist. I mean, yeah, Death Fist at the wall, it does damage. Demo Man at the wall, very threatening. You can't step that. Kind of tracks both sides. He has a perfect throw game. He has a 1 break, 2 break, 1+2 break. He has a very underrated ultimate tackle into ultimate punishment or armbar. His rage drive is super strong. Hammer of the Gods, +3 on block, super strong. Oki's pretty good with up back 2. No, oh, sorry. Is it down back 2? Yeah, down back 2, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of other very strong options. Oh, right, and Rage Art Council has to be mentioned when he's in Rage. It's not as ridiculous as Marduk anymore. It's seen nerfs, but it's pretty up there in comeback potential. Like, yeah, I've said it a couple of times, but, you know, you can have a flawless round against Paul. You've taken no damage. You've fucked him up quite a few times. You've got a few of your mix-ups in, and he's in Rage. You can never be confident here in this situation. Like, Paul in Rage is something you always respect. Always. So here you'll start blocking. You will not try to attack him, because if he counter hits you here, you might die. But then still, you know, if you start blocking, does he have ways to break your guard? Yeah, perfect throw game, 50-50, big frames. Paul is a very complete character, very strong. Yeah, he's a very, very good character. And standing free should be mentioned in the poke department. Very underrated, I feel. Very long range mid. And now we are at Alisa, a character that I've discussed quite a bit today prior to recording. A character a lot of people find is like, oh, maybe she should be top 20. I've underrated this character a lot in the past and put her in the top 20. She is very, very strong, in my opinion. We'll see where other top players put her, but... So here again, you have a little bit like Zafina, where you combine some of the best movement in the game. Alisa's hurt box is very small when she's moving. You'll note that in her idle stance, neutral, she has her feet very close together and her arms very close to her body. And this is the same when she does a backdash or when she's sidestepping, sidewalking. Alisa is one of these characters where it's a bit like Tekken 5, where she can escape just with a single backdash a lot of pressure situations. So small hurt box with some of the best movement in the game. And now we're going to add onto that some of the best poking in the game. If you want to see this in action, I recommend watching Cuddlecore, who is the best Alisa in the world. The poking doesn't hurt too much, like down forward 4, down back 3, down forward 1, back 1, jab. They don't do gigantic amounts of damage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because the reach is so good and the frames are so good. And then her low from full crouch, down forward 1 plus 2, does what, 26, 27 damage, plus 5 on hit. Only minus 11 on block. It's a little bit like Lars, full crouch down for 1 plus 2, but the move's on steroids. And then she has while standing 1 plus 2, a mid to mix up with that. Down back 3 is a really good low poke that puts her in, you know, full crouch to get the full crouch mix up. Again, something you'll see Cuddlecore do a lot. Amazing movement and can close the gap immediately with like these instant forward thrust attacks, like down 3, but you know, rocket low, where she slides in again into a full crouch mix up if she wants to. So and back 1 is an amazing mid poke. So the pokes are amazing. Good counter hit launchers as well. Standing 4 is super strong. Back 3 is a really good mid homing knockdown, and her really good for tournament play. Her punishment, both with punish, she'll launch you from very long range at 15 with back 4 if you whiff anything. And her block punishment is very, very strong. At 10 frame, 12 frame, 13 frame, free 2, 14 frame, forward free 2 into like 50 plus damage, 15 frame, very long range, 15 frame launcher. And her chainsaw stance is actually pretty damn decent. It is not only for, you know, low-level ranked gimmicks. They actually have very oppressive frames. The only thing I feel like holding Alisa back is, again, she has to land a couple of pokes for it to really add up. Her combos are clunky. wall travel is bad. She's not very flexible in her combos, and the combos don't do a lot of damage compared to some of these other characters. But to be honest, looking at her hitboxes, her frames, and her very limited and small hurt box, and her space control, and you know how she closes, she moves away so rapidly, closes the gap so quickly. She's really in control of a 3D environment. Like, if she had a higher damage and better combos, and if her pokes did more damage, I mean, she would be all the way up here, I think. So in my opinion, Alisa has been, I don't know, underrated a bit. I think she's a very strong character. And now we're at something extremely interesting. Leo. A character that has been, I don't know, in the shadows for a long time. Now, this is a character no one talks about. And I used to put him like really, really low. And I'm gonna use him now as his pronoun. I feel like I need to do this quickly because a lot of people are gonna go she, him, she, him. If you go to a special chapter, he is referred to as him 3 times in the opening text. He. In-game in the cutscene, he is referred to as him. His voice actor is male German man, and in his Win dialogue, he says, Ich bin glücklicher, which is a German male verb, glücklicher, referring to himself as a male. So that's why I call him a him. But anyway, a character put on the map lately by Heihachi. Heihachi and God, what's his name? A very, very strong Pakistani Leo who's done so well in tournaments. Zarnab, right? I got it correctly. His name is Zarnab. If you've missed this guy and if you're interested in Leo, I very much recommend on YouTube checking out Zarnab. I think he's posting content. He has a YouTube posting content. He's extremely good with the character. And he's also been saying for a long time, like, everyone's sleeping on Leo. So again, I've put Leo in top 11 here. I'm gonna make a dedicated video on Leo being a dark horse, but it would not surprise me if you see a lot of that character very soon. Was already very strong, going under the radar, and now got super nice buffs for patch 5.0. So while standing 2 used to be iffy at 16 frames, they made it 15, so that's the while standing launch punish. Has insane reach, by the way, it's almost infinite. So that's now 15. It's a super nice buff. Down for 2 launches crouching. That's pretty significant. On a very long reaching down for 2. That is minus 13 though. And then Bok free, the jumping 360 cyclone kick, whatever, has the wall crush property, which is very strong. God, am I? Oh, and for some reason they made his down for 2 plus 3 already a super strong low. They made it only 21 in speed. Used to be 23, so it's completely unreactable. So why do I put Leo so high? Extremely all-round character with pretty ridiculous options. Where do I even start with this character? So again, if you whiff anything, but down for 2 hits very, very far away. It has insane reach, so whiff punish crazy good. And that's where that while standing 2 buff really takes effect. Because when you hear, no, sorry, down for 2. Because when you hear, oh, down for 2 launches crouchers, it's not like that buffs it in the 50-50 situation. But where you will really see this buff is, for example, if someone does a, you know, they're lying on the ground and they do a get up free, they still recover crouching. Now you can down for 2 to launch that on whiff punish. So that's where that really hits home in terms of buff. So that down for 2 is crazy good. I don't know where to even start. There's just so much to unpack. So okay, down for 3, great reach, safe mid knockdown. Homing Hell Sweep with down back 4-1 places them on the wall really far away. Let's just start with the lows. Homing Hell Sweep, that wall splats very easily. Oh, and into a wall combo that does 28 damage and gives ridiculous Okizeme. One of the best wall combos in the game. And this is something I learned not long ago. Like, ridiculously strong wall combo. God, other lows. Down for 2 plus 3 is a very chunky low that is minus 12 on Brock. Block, jeez. On block. And counter hit launches. Oh, and evades highs. Super strong. Core Circle Forward 1 is a very long reaching low. That is what? Is it minus 11 on block? Or 12? But on counter hit gives while stunning 4, 1 plus 2 for 1 billion damage. And if it minus 13. And if there's a wall, they die. The thing is, I feel I have to talk in such huge detail on this character because no one knows the character. Like, no one knows this character. Oh, and while stunning 4, 1 plus 2, is that the best 11 frame while stunning punish in the game? It's like, people don't know this. It's like, it has huge reach, does amazing damage, and wall splats from far away. You know how I always felt it was crazy that Dragunov has a 12 frame wall bounce? You know, if Dragunov blocks Kazuya's down back 4, that low, he can do while sending 1 free to wall bounce Kazuya. Leo has that from 11 frames and it does more damage. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 13 frame. What? No, ever. Dragunov's while sending 1 free is 12 frames. Yes. Let's see, Leo. Demon Paw that reaches further than Demon Paw. Safe. Minus 9. Rage Drive is the same attack, but 1 frame faster. Unbelievably strong Rage Drive. Has super good punishment. Has evasiveness with Bok. Into a safe, gigantic launcher into Bok 2. Can mix that with Bok 3, that's plus 10 on block. And it's a natural hit. Both of those hit on launch on natural hit. One's minus 9, one is plus 10 on block. I mean, it's easier to say what the weaknesses are. It's a weak down forward 1. And the throw game is only a 1 plus 2 throw break. That wall splats behind him. As powerful strings. Forward back 1 4 or forward 4 is plus 9 on block into a mix-up. He got average movement. No, he's got good movement. His backdash is really strong. He has a strong backdash. Combo damage is really high when you factor in one of the best wall combos. God, what else? 50-50. Homing Hell Sweep has 2 safe homing options. Downward 3, one I mentioned before. Knockdown wall splat. Has a quarter circle forward 3 plus 4, which is a very fast dual kick. That's homing knockdown for chunky damage. Mid-mid. Safe on block. Counter it launches. I didn't know about that. Can close the gap immediately with quarter circle forward 2-1. Has almost like infinite reach. Quarter circle forward 2-1. Mid-mid safe on block. Second hit counter it launches. There's just so much to unpack with the character. I feel like I'm forgetting like busted stuff. Oh, 4-2-3. Sidestep, knockdown high. That's safe on block. Takes a gigantic step to the right. Is very strong. Man, I wish... oh, upward 1-2. If you're Io Richie, this is a safe mid launcher. Most of you haven't seen this attack. Leo does like a jumping, what looks like a Shoryuken. Boom. Up for 2-1. It's -8 on block. Natural combo. And if this hits, Leo can pick up with an instant while standing free into combo. Io Richie is very consistent with it. Oh, and crazy parries. Has multiple parries that are very strong. Oh, and Leo's, yeah, back 1-4. Simultaneous low-high hit. But on counter it gives 14 frame follow-up. Back to 1+2. Punishment is really good. Oh, wow. God. Down 1. What? Not only safe on block, but what? -6, -7? Long range mid. But it's good on normal hit. And counter it launches. Like, amazing button. It's like this character has, like, amazing stuff. Oh, right. You know how I played Kazuya against Arslan a few days ago and he played Leo? There's a reason for that. I think you're gonna see a lot of players look at Leo. Oh, what? Oh, down 1 is -2. Is it -2? It's a ridiculous attack. It's a ridiculous attack. I want all of you, seriously, if you're interested in this, go to practice mode, pick Leo, do that down 1, note the reach of it, note the speed, note that it's mid, -2 on block, and launches on counter hit. And at the same time, go to Hwoarang, and notice that his 3+4 is now -11 on block. Yeah, compare those two attacks. It's like, it's 18 frames though. Oh, too bad it's 18 frames. Hwoarang's 3+4 is what? 19? 18, 19? It's 18 frames though. Yeah, counter it mid-launcher with huge range. That's -2 on block. Oh, but it's 18 frames. It should be 14. Yeah, it should match Kazuya's down for 2. You know, that's -12 on block. No, this character is ridiculous. And the Oki is ridiculous. Many situations knocked down. He'll do forward 3. His, what, cartwheel? But in many situations, cartwheel into guaranteed Bok 2. This character is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And has been under the radar for so long. Super strong. My god, just those two counter hit launchers. Down 1 and down for 2+3. Like, one of the best mid counter hits in the game, one of the best low counter hits in the game. Counter hit launchers. They both counter hit launch. But again, I think the only problem I've seen when I've played Leo is that a lot of these attacks are a bit linear. Could be weak to sidesteps. But Van has some pretty good homing moves. Bok 3 launches on normal hit. Down forward 3 knocks down. Korsakoff forward 3+4 knocks down. Counter it launches. And has strong movement. No, Leo, in my opinion, Leo has been very underrated. It's good that I'm 1 hour in now and we've just finished the top tier. But this is the way it should be, in my opinion. So my throat is gonna recover a little bit with some water. Yeah, I think a lot of people find Leo boring. which leads to few people playing him and hence going under the radar. Art's lengths. But I'm a fan of Otstarva, and I think he does it right. You know, Dead by Daylight is complicated. Tekken is extremely complicated. Like, if you can talk about Dead by Daylight killers, 28, 29 killers. So 20 less than Tekken. If you can talk about 30 killers for 6 hours, you sure as hell can talk about Tekken for longer, for 2-3 hours. This is 10 times more complicated than DBD, by the way. Okay, so now I'm moving on to high tier. So now I'm starting out with Steve. And again, I just love that I have 4 Giga Chads in a row here. Pretty much the 4 horsemen of execution and legacy Tekken and beautifully crafted characters. All of these represent the best things about Tekken, in my opinion. And it's kind of nice that I didn't mean for it to be like this. It just organically, it just happened to be like this. And I was like, whoa, awesome. So, okay, I'm gonna start with Steve. The reason Steve is not up here, honestly, he would probably be up here if it wasn't for this, this, and this. These 3 are so strong and they all counter Steve so hard. The reason you didn't see Steve suddenly at EVO, even though he's a very popular presence in tournaments usually, is because of a Feng Wei meta that has formed the last 12 months. This guy kills Steve. Kills him. All of those lows that immediately beat highs, fuck Steve up. Kempo, fuck Steve up. Down back 3 going in on a Steve that's trying to back 1 fucks him up. Oh, you like punching? Oh, you like boxing? Here's my launching punch parry that's -12 on block. And if Steve blocks that, calls it out, he gets 1-1-2. Shoo, shoo, shoo! And Feng Wei just giggles a little bit and then does another punch parry and then kills Steve. Steve gets absolutely destroyed by Feng Wei. Absolutely destroyed by Zafina. And Marduk is also a really bad matchup for him. But still remains very, very strong with some of the best counter utility in the game. I've discussed this character countless times. Trademark is back 1, is left hook that, counter it launches, is an amazing keep out tool. Even works in pressure situations because that back 1 is what, -1 if he goes into flicker on block, -1, -2. And here he can pressure. Down for 2, even though it lost its homing property, is still very, very strong. His jab is really good. His 1-to-1 is super strong. He has enormous mix-up utility with God knows how many stances. Flicker, peekaboo, duck, sway. Those are all stances into options. Has a guard break to break turtles and very defensive players. Has one of the best rage drives in the game. That should always be mentioned when you talk about Steve. Crazy wall pressure where he can apply a 50-50 with his stomp, and also his wall shove that is unique to him. Very strong. Very hard to break as well. Has a very tight throw break. Suffers though in that if someone is a very strong defensive player, even with that guard break, it can be hard to open them up. Doesn't really have a throw game. Low pokes are okay, but not more than that. His punishment is weak compared to other characters. But he remains very, very strong in the hands of a capable player. It's just that the current meta, I think, hurts him a lot. But yeah, still an extremely strong character. And it goes without saying, all 4 of these characters are ultra demanding. Ultra demanding. So now I am with Lord Lee, a character you could almost put above Steve, in my opinion, but you know, it's very subjective. Lee is, compared to Steve, completely all round. Lee can do everything. And if someone said to me, I believe Lee has the best counter hits in the game, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. You could say that. Best keep out tool in the game, back 4, almost completely flat out broken. It recovers so quickly on whiff. It's so good on block. Has a built-in mix-up. You can go back 4 into Hitman. It's a mix-up situation. Best magic 4 in the game. His 2-2-free is one of the best counter hit tools. His down 3 is a counter hit launching low. That's what? How fast is that move? 16? Or is it 15? So fast. I'd say it's 16. God, am I missing out on any vital counter hits here? We have forward 4 free. Down for 2 is used as keep out. You can see down for 2s as counter hit moves. But the counter hit utility is incredible. And then we have very good pokes. Down for 1 is very, very strong. He can 50-50 with slide and the while stunning 2 mix-ups. His punishment is some of the best in the game. He has one of the best 10 frames in the game in Acid Rain. It's very hard to do though. Very long range 15 frame launch in Acid Storm. Punishment is very strong. His combos are extremely good. He has some of the best wall travel in the game. With back 2, misstep. Damage is very high. He has a very good wall combo, 23 damage into Oki, very strong. To be honest, in my opinion, this character has everything. I feel like he's just held back by very extreme execution. Yeah, okay, Crab here says he has a bottom 5 backdash and bad sidestep left. But yeah, when you look at all of the attacks on paper, it's like the character has everything. Oh, and forward 4 should be mentioned as an amazing evasive tool. I just remembered I failed to mention one of his best counter hits, and it's his 1+2, which is a mid, good range, homing mid counter hit launcher that's -2 on block. I believe it's -2, isn't it? He's just ridiculous. But I think, yeah, there's a lack of him due to people don't play him in tournaments. His execution is so demanding. But he is crazy. Oh, it's -1 in Hitman. I thought it was -2. Yeah. Oh, right, and it's forward 3. That's a pretty good knockdown mid, right? With good tracking. Have you seen the reach of it? I think if you execute it perfectly, is it 15 frames? 15 or 16? It's so stupid. And his damage with the rage drive. But yeah, Lee is crazy strong. Crazy strong. So now we are on Bryan. Bryan is... all of these characters like this patch, by the way. It was nice seeing these characters get nerfed. So the gap really closes. They really close in on all of these guys. Bryan, another... these are 3 like counter hit gods in a row. Bryan, I actually counted this. I think he has like 25 counter hit launchers. I'm not joking. He has like 25 counter hit launchers. If this guy presses a button and he counters you, you are getting launched on almost anything he does. And and everything hurts a shit ton. If a Bryan knows what he's doing, has the execution, there's a big difference between a basic Bryan combo and a big boy Bryan combo. If they do the big boy stuff and they get you to the wall, a billion damage, and then you tech roll, and if he knows how to taunt, well, you just died. The character is one of the most oppressive at the wall. Akuma is the king of walls, but after that, you know, it's basically Bryan. A few other characters can get mentioned, like Claudio. But, I mean, taunt... People don't get this, but taunt is broken. It's like... That's a 28 frame mid that launches you for absurd damage. On block. It's a 20... It's a 28 frame launcher on block. There are Bryans out there who jet upper like 9 out of 10 times. That's broken. It's literally broken. But so, a very unconventional character, like Kazuya, you know, like Marduk. It doesn't have a... Oh, like Steve. That doesn't have a generic down for 1. Doesn't have a generic down for 2. Doesn't have a hop kick. So he's extremely unique. But again, has a million counter hit launchers. Keep out is excellent with 3+4 counter hit. Orbital, if you do it straight up, almost busted for keep out. Has a magic 4. Has very, very good pressure strings. 1-2-1. Back 3 into sway. Back 3 1+2. Got his counter hit utility, could be talked about forever. Northern Cross, down for 2 free, 3+4. Has a 50-50 these days for some reason with Hatchet that does a million damage. +5 on hit. Still only -13 on block. On counter hit, he gets down 3-4, 1+2 into what? 50 damage into Oki, where he can do a taunt. Yeah, that was a good idea. He certainly needed it. Has decent punishment these days. Used to be quite lackluster in punishment. They buffed it quite a bit. Jet upper is a 14 frame launcher from standing. Has the back 4 at the wall. That is super dumb. Mach kick is... Well, I don't know, one of the best counter tools in the game. Yeah, I don't know what character is better in terms of counter hit utility. And a bit like Julia, where constantly throwing what could be seen as fake pressure your way, but really trying to get you to make a mistake. Like, if you're not super patient against Bryan, yeah, you die. It's like his down for 1, you know, the machine gun punches, or not Gatling, machine gun. Very delayable. Like, oh, come on, press a button, you know you want to. Down for 2. Are you going to press? You can add a counter hit launching free to that. Back 3, can do it on its own. Can do back 3 into cancel, into a throw, or into other types of pressure. But back 3 can add a 1+2, but counter it knocks you down. Into a soccer kick, into mix up. He has a million options where he does 1 attack, but can add a second one to catch you doing anything. So it can be seen as fake pressure, but this is where, you know, Bryan players with very strong mind games can really force you to take a counter hit. That kills you. And again, if he does this stuff and you're very patient, he has that taunt to kill you for blocking, especially at the wall. So a character that requires very high-end strategy, very high-end execution, is very unorthodox, but it's just so hard-hitting. And has 25 different options to counter it launch you. And so many stupid moves, like upward 3 that recovers instantaneously on whiff, instantaneously on block. Yeah. So I hope that's a good explanation of Bryan. Yeah. And now we are at my main, Kazuya. I think I'm gonna try and be faster on him. Electric is broken. I was hoping in 5.0 they would nerf the electric. Instead, they do something I find extremely boring. They remove Fujinuraken, which I thought was a very fun option from Wave Dash. But now it's basically gone because it doesn't really do anything on hit or on counter hit. I feel you're better off now doing while standing free, which has much more reach and is a homing knockdown mid, wall splat mid. But now, you know, on hit, it sets up your vortex because it knocks down. So Fujinuraken is kind of gone now. Instead, what I would have hoped for is let's keep Fujinuraken because it's interesting, and instead go to the root of the problem. The real problem was having an electric that recovers that quickly on whiff. So hard to whiff punish. That tracks to both sides. Tracks to his weak side. I don't like that. You dumb down my character. You shouldn't be able to wave or dash into an electric and have that much tracking to his weak side. Let's have people use Uraken instead from a Waivu to counter that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. They should have nerfed electric, but that's my opinion. Electric doesn't recover fast. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, I didn't like that. So electric is still kind of OP in my opinion. And you could argue he has the best electric. It doesn't track as much as Devil Jin's to the weak side. But it is 1 frame faster if you're good at it. And that does count for something. If you do it perfectly, it's as fast as a down forward 1. That's not a small detail in my opinion. Only thing holding him back is poking. His down forward 1 is 15 frames. His jab is not very strong. It's not as strong as Devil Jin's in terms of hitbox and in terms of reach. But everything else is just so strong. His hell sweep is so strong. Does 35 damage, drops them right at your feet. It's like Devil Jin's hell sweep launches, but Kazuya's, especially on an infinite stage, is not far away. Honestly, on an infinite stage, it's about as good, I would say, just for the fact that it just perfectly sets up his Oki. And his Oki is so strong. Forward, forward, 4, oh, they stay on the ground, you know, flips them, resets the situation. If they do a get-up kick, they counter it launched. If they tech roll, well, forward, forward, 4 is now safe on block. Or you do a hell sweep, or you do forward, forward, 3, which is a long-range mid-launcher, then it's -3 on block. You know, has good homing options these days. Didn't used to have that. While standing free, you have back 4, counter it launching safe mid. That's high. While standing 4 is still super good. Oh, bad poking. Well, except for down back 4, which is a 20 frame low. That's +4 on hit. Does good damage. On counter hit gives what? +17. Hits grounded for some reason. Just adding to ridiculous Okiseme. Punishment is really, really strong. Has a 13 frame while standing launcher. Albeit doesn't have amazing reach, but it's still a 13 frame while standing launcher. Has very, very strong combo damage. This guy got nerfed combo damage. I would say Kazuya has the best combo damage now out of the Mishimas. Can go for forward 4, Oki, spike at the wall for ridiculous Oki. His rage options are very strong. His comeback potential is super strong, considering it's a little bit like Marduk's, where Kazuya, all he needs is be in rage. And again, it's not the best comeback utility in the game. I wouldn't put it on par with like someone like Paul or Marduk. But don't underestimate a Kazuya that's in rage. He still has that fucking strong 50-50 to open you up. And once he launches you when he's in rage, be it like an electric or whatever, he has that rage drive and there's a wall nearby. Oh my god, the damage. And then he's in devil mode and devil is completely broken. Again, he doesn't have a lot of health to play around with, but Devil Kazuya has, you know, a mid-electric. He has a mid-electric. Again, it's -6 on block, but that's still a 13-frame mid-launcher that hits grounded in certain situations. He has a 50 damage hell sweep that floor breaks. He has a forward 1+2 that's a perfect attack. This is Jinpachi's old attack. What is it called? Amon. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a double backhand like this. And let's just break this attack down. I shouldn't talk that much about Devil Kazuya, but so many people don't know this stuff, and I find it interesting. So Devil Kazuya presses forward 1+2. So this is a reasonably fast mid with long range that is safe and launches. And when he goes into it, he ducks far down, beating a lot of mid attacks. So again, he ducks down. It's almost like a panic move. You duck down, then double backhand, long reach, homing mid launcher that is safe on block. That was the best move in Tekken Tag 2. Jinpachi's attack. Best move. Everyone agreed. That's the best attack. So Devil Kazuya has that. And again, Devil Kazuya has 1 million damage. I think his wall combo, if you know, it's a bit technical, but if you can do it, his wall combo does like 38, I think, and floor breaks. So, yeah, okay, now I talked a lot about Kazuya. What else is interesting about Kazuya? Oh, he used to have a lot of bad matchups, you know, and like Steve, for example, Magic 4s. Used to have to do his forward roll attack. You know what roll I'm talking about, right? He rolls on the ground, kicks with the legs. They get knocked down into a guaranteed forward 4. But then, what do they give him? Down 1+2, 25 frame, beats all highs, counter it low launcher. So it's like they fixed those matchups quite a bit for him. Yeah, Kazuya is super good. Sidestep 3 is another really good attack. Oh, and again, 14 frame counter it launcher, abolishing fist. Bat down for 2. -12 on block, but it's still a 14 frame counter it launcher. And, you know, if God is playing Kazuya, perfect electric, it's completely broken. That's what, 110 damage with a wall or something? If not more. So now we are at Lord Claudio. Bappity boopy. Extremely fundamental Tekken character that a lot of people find cheap. I think this is solely due to his hop kick that is really cheap. It's the best hop kick in the game. I mean, like every hop kick, -13 on block, comes out at 15 frames. It's immediately extremely evasive when he does it, and it has the most reach. So it's super strong. And then he has a wild running 2, Superman punch that is +7 on block, and now at the wall in 5.0. How plus is it? 23 on block. On a character that already had rebarded pressure at the wall. Back 1 is top 10 attack in the game. So this is a long reach, knockdown, wall splatting mid that is -5 on block and homing. And screws an opponent that is midair. Back 1, okay, like flawless attack. Mixed with while running 2, you already have something solid. Sidestep 4 is an amazing low. What is it on normal hit? I think it's like +6, 7 on normal hit. Chunky knocks down on counter hit for a down back 3 for like 40 total damage. Doesn't have a down forward 1, so he's a little bit clunky in the poking department. Instead has a back 3, but has a counter hit launching follow-up. But his back 3 doesn't have the properties of a down forward 1. It's a little bit worse on block. Pretty damn decent combos. Starburst shenanigans, crazy frames, big damage. Down to 2 is very strong. Forward 1+2 in Starburst, very long reach, mid delayable, natural hit launcher. Rage drive is really strong. Oh, down forward 3 is a very fast mid kick, good reach, but if it connects, has a fully hit confirmable wall splat follow-up. Granted, you need pretty fast reflexes to hit confirm that, but it is hit confirmable. So an absolute god at the wall. With back 1, Venue while running 2, down forward 3 with follow-ups. Very, very fundamental character. Mostly about doing one hit, one and done. But those single hits are pretty flawless. Yeah, you really need to be an amazing Tekken player to do well with him. But oh, again, if you're in green ranks, that hop kick is gonna carry you to the moon. Claudio is very strong. Master Raven, a character that saw really, really big nerfs. Most notably, I think, had one of the best power crushes in the game. From back turn, you would press 1+2, and now she would do a mid that knocks down into a guaranteed back 3. That did a shit ton for her back turn mix-ups. You really couldn't pressure her there. But also such a dark horse character. A lot of people don't know about Master Raven, but you have to understand that this unbeatable knee that we've been seeing for like at least the last like 6 months, like completely unbeatable. A Master Raven player a lot of people don't know about in Korea, Go Attack, beat knee quite convincingly, and Meo Il, and many other notable top tier Korean players at Africa Tekken League, ATL. So like don't underestimate this character. Extremely strong in capable hands. So a ton of damage from basically every launcher. Has launching 50/50s. Has one of the best 10 frames, I think, counter tools. It's called Black Hole. All-consuming Black Hole. 114, which is hit confirmable. Crazy attack. Down back 2 into back turn is an amazing mid poke that has a built-in string. Down back 2 1 or down back 2 back turn and can then evade. Extremely strong button, has great pokes, 14 frame launcher, crazy keep out with core circle forward 4. That keep out launcher is almost busted. 4-1 counter it launcher, you know, magic 4. I can't stress enough how good her combos are and her wall combo. But yeah, solid pokes, man. Down 3, free, down back 2, down forward 1, 1-1. But yeah, I think took a big hit with the power crush. They also nerfed her max damage wall combo a little bit. God, is there something else I want to say about Master Raven? You could also say very gimmicky shenanigans from back turned or cartwheel into invincible, blah, blah, blah. Unblockables that are super annoying. So there's some of that gimmickry as well. But I would recommend going on YouTube, and if you're interested in Master Raven, look up Go Attack, and even look at like Go Attack versus Ni, Meo Il, Africa Tekken League. Take a look at that, because he really makes that character shine. And now we are at Marshmut Law. It is martial law, but I just like the old school announcer, Tekken 1, Tekken 2, he would say, Marshmut Law. Law, I'm gonna have some water. All right. Martial Law is a character I think some people might put higher on this list. And you could do that. You can see him as really strong. It's just that this character, a lot of people underestimate his execution. He's a little bit in the same situation as Lee, where it's like he's held back by extreme execution. It's very, very hard to get really good at his DSS cancel. But if you do, he has some of the craziest frames in the game. And he has an high damage 11 frame counter hit launcher in his while standing 4. Mid. 11 frame mid counter hit launcher. You can see Gosane. Very, very notable. Well, the best law player in Europe. He hits that. I don't know if every time, but I see him very consistent with it. So you do while standing 4 counter hit DSS 3+4/4 into incredible damage. But the execution behind that, it's pretty much frame perfect. So again, if you have the execution, which very few people do, or if they have that execution, they move on to a character like this, like this, like this, where, you know, the execution really, really, really pays off. But Law is no slouch. He has a lot of amazing stuff. Amazing Magic 4. His forward 1+2 is an amazing counter hit mid launcher. Good counter hit utility overall. As in my opinion, one of the best punishes in the game with 3+4, which is easy execution, insane reach mid launcher. That's 14 frames. Be it block punish or whiff punish, it's one of the best punishes in the game, I would say. Has a 50-50 with his slide. Has decent poking with down back 3. His down forward 1 is not very strong in my opinion. His down forward 2 is ridiculously good, however, with good reach, but it also is very famous for its good tracking to both sides. Law's down forward 2, and it's only -7 on block. Good space control in general. Back 3 is a really long reach. Mid homing knockdown wall splat. His combos are not the best though in my opinion. They are pretty clunky. They nerfed his wall damage a shit ton. He used to be up there in wall damage, but then for some reason, they removed the clean hit property of DSS forward 3. I don't know why they did this. Because now it's like, okay, so I have high execution here with Law. I do 4-3 DSS forward 3, but you get like nothing for it. I think it does like 21. That's 1 point of damage above your average wall combo. That has no execution. So I don't know why they did this. It's not like he was busted in damage overall, because his damage is nothing exceptional at all in the neutral, in the open. So that was always puzzling to me. But again, like, if you have the execution, some of the most oppressive frames in the game, while standing 4 on hit, while standing 4 on block, 4-3 on block, his goddamn legend kick. You know, he has a lot of cool stuff. And I think his legend kick got the wall crush attribute, which is nice. And down back 3 is a super nice poke. Down 4-3 is a super nice poke. So Law, very solid. It's just that I think he's a almost worse offender than Lee when it comes to you're not as strong as you're difficult. So yeah, that's my take on Law. So now we are at the cheeseburger. Back in season 2-3, he had insane damage at the wall. I don't know if you remember that. But that's exactly what I just mentioned. Like they removed the clean it property on his wall combo. He used to be top damage at the wall. And I think that was deserved, considering the difficulty and the fact that his wall travel was never insane. His combos in the neutral, never insane. So I don't know why, to be honest. When we always had worse characters. Okay, so now we are at Bob, a character that used to be a total pain in the ass in older Tekken games. He was super all-round, very powerful. He was the first, I feel, iteration of Leroy fucking Lydia. That type of character, he was the first. He had every tool in the game. He was like, what's he called? Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. He just combined, you know, like Leroy, tools of every other character in Tekken 6 to make the perfect character. But he took all of those tools and he had better hitboxes. He had more damage. He had better frames. To the point where everyone went, why should we play anyone other than Bob? And you had that very famous Evo, where a grand finals, Bob versus Bob, and it was so awful. At least, you know, in Evo Japan, where you had 6 Leroys in the top 8, it was Leroy versus Julia in the grand finals. But Leroy was just as bad, if not worse, on launch. But so he's seen significant nerfs. He's also been power crept quite a bit. But still a very all-round, very strong character that does most things well. I think the only drawback to the character is punishment can be iffy. Punishment is incredible outside of 15 frame launcher. I believe, yeah, crouching he will launch at 14 frames with while setting 2-1. But standing, he will do upward 4 at 15 frames into not too much damage, but still they gave him a 15 frame launcher, which I thought was a mistake. But it should also be noted that that 15 frame launcher is a high. So as soon as a move recovers, you know, crouching, you have a problem. But still he has that now. But very strong poking, very strong frames, strong punishment outside of standing 15. His 12 frame punish is very notable. Forward 2-3, one of the best reaches in the game. Wall splat, knockdown, solid damage. His hell sweep is nothing short of homing with really good reach. Doesn't really give good Oki anymore though. Really good mids, forward 4-2, sidestep 1+2, wall pressure is strong, has a launching throw, poking very, very good. Damage is strong, one of the strongest wall combos in the game. I think that wall combo does what, 30, does it 33 damage? That's like top, is that top 5 in wall combo damage? And again, most people don't know this, but yeah, now you know it. Bob is damage monster at the wall. Yeah, doesn't have a very oppressive 50-50 though. The hell sweep is homing, but you'll mix that with, you don't have like Kazuya, a safe homing mid. Thank God. Hey, Hyptor, good to see you. But I think that's Bob. High crushing, power crush. Yeah, that should be mentioned. Forward 1+2 is a very strong power crush. Wall splat, knockdown mid, that's only -12. That's beat highs. One of the best power crushes in the game, for sure. Super annoying to deal with. But good, really good reach on him. Really good reach. Yeah, I don't know. Bob's kind of boring to talk about. All round, you know, has more of a fun Sammo Hung gimmick with him. Oh, look how ironic. He's super fat, but he has good evasiveness. So more evasiveness than you'd think due to his size. But it's the same with Kuma. A lot of troll properties. He's very all around. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's Bob. I just want to take a moment to just cherish the fact that I'm 1 hour and 40 minutes in and I'm not even halfway. I'm going full out Starva today and I'm getting hungry. I need to eat something. I think I'm gonna speed up because I visualize a very tasty pizza in my head. So now we are at King, a character I find very strong. But this is a character that is very divisive. I see some people put him around here, and some people will put him towards the middle here. And Lil Majin, who is arguably the best King out there, I think it's him or Puma, Korean King player. Majin actually feels King is S tier. I think he feels he's S tier, and he's felt he's like top 10 for a long time. King is very good, but I can't see him as top 10, as those characters have just crazier tools and often crazier damage or crazier movement, etc, etc. But King has some crazy stuff. So what are his trademarks? Best throws in the game by far. Like crazy throw mix-ups. And to be honest, the only character in the game that has super viable chain throws. But do absurd damage. And if he doesn't do the most damaging option out of those throws, and I'm looking at you, like arm break or standing heel hold, when he does the less damaging options like sharpshooter or dragon sleeper hold, he gets unbelievable Oki. Often to the point of where if you eat those for like 70 damage, oh King, you just broke my neck. Can I stand up? He goes, no, roar, roar, and he does a hop kick. If you're quick standing, he just launched you. So then you go, oh, I'll stay on the ground. Well, then he does a ground throw or people's elbow. And it's just insulting when he does the ground throws because he goes, I'll just snap your fucking arm. And now, after that, you can be like minus 28 and he's like, I'll do another ground throw and another one. He gets like mix-ups and I'm like, why? Why? It's like, but Oki Semi, and it's like, you know, Armor King does a tombstone. The dead man. Eish! You know what? 58. Doesn't get Oki. King does that. I'm fucking dead, man. Eish! Gets Oki. Like every on Muscle Buster, you know, that he mixes up. Or Shining Wizard, you know, all of these throws. Muscle Buster. What? Guaranteed back turn free. Oh, Armor King's Shining Wizard. I kick you the fuck out of here. What does King do? Knee to the face, recovers right next to you. What's it called? Tequila throw. You know, throws them super high and then catches them. Blah! Spine Buster. Oki, 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 Oki. Oki, 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 Oki. Oh, I have my back towards the wall. Watch out for my giant swing into the wall. 70 damage into Oki. What can he mix that up with? That one break? 1+2 break. He grabs you by the throat. Oh, you pressed 1 because you expect a giant swing. Oh, I can now throw you into the wall. It's like you have no... People don't understand how strong his throws are. Because they don't get the details. They think it's like, okay, they do a lot of damage, but it's like... his throw mix-ups, and then the Oki he gets on these throws, it's absolutely ridiculous. So throws are crazy. And that used to be the entire character, but in Tekken 7 they were like, we need to push King. He's fucking Roman Reigns now. Better make him look real strong. And suddenly they gave King like counter hits. And they give him pokes. And everyone's like, what? What? Because the throws were so strong. But then they had to do something, right? Why? Because throw breaks went from 20 frame windows. No, sorry, from 15 frame windows in Tag 2. And you know, historically in Tekken, throws have been unbelievably hard to tech, right? And now they made them 20 frames in Tekken 7. So they are significantly easier to break. So they were like, we gotta compensate. So he needs really good tools now. Like fundamental Tekken tools. Like counter hit, utility, launchers, punishment, pokes. All of that has been buffed like... Oh my god, his buffs. So he has super good pokes. Like down for 1 is really good. Forward 3, you know, on hit. Safe on block mid, that gives DDT into a guaranteed Ali kick for like what, 45 damage? His back 1 is a 12 frame counter hit launcher with really good reach. That move alone is godlike. And this is a notable difference here, where people think that, oh, Armor King, he can play the same game as King. Keep out back 1. I mean, they're both 12 frame counter hit launchers, right? If it wasn't for the fact that this guy's back 1 recovers much faster on whiff. This guy on whiff goes, oh, tequila stumbles a little bit. So it's worse on whiff. So that's a very big difference you have to keep in mind. But yeah, outside of like whiff punish, which this guy does much better. Although you shouldn't underestimate, in my opinion, full crouch down for 2 as a whiff punish. But outside of that, King is amazing. Forward 1 is a perfect attack. Pretty perfect. Down 3 is a great low poke. Forward neutral 2 is an amazing low poke. Forward 4 is an amazing homing move. Down for 2-1 is an amazing counter hit. His shove is literally almost broken levels territory. Poke. Super fast. Safe on block. On counter hit, 4-1 is guaranteed. Or if you hit the wall, 1+2-1 into you died is guaranteed. His punishment is super good these days. 2-1, 1 million frames. Back 1-2, 1 million damage on frames. Safe mid launcher and down back 2. Feel my tits. Forward 1+4, crazy frames. Oh, and his go crazy Anga Bunga is almost Yoshi level territory, where how he can Anga Bunga with unblockable setups or tech trap setups, throw setups. If you've ever played against a really creative King, you're just a question mark. You'll see Lil Majin do this sometimes, like the craziest setups with his flying cross chop, clothesline, unblockable, his moonsault, jump over you into Frankensteiner. He has a lot of bunga, almost Yoshimitsu levels of like creative bullshit setups. So that, oh god, that's something. Did you see my porn folder? Ooh. That's something you have to keep in mind with King as well, because that's a great strength also. Yeah, I think that's a good summary of King. So he suffers a bit in the whiff punish department. But he's really strong. It's just that it's bullshit too. Oh, he has one of the best rage drives in the game, should be mentioned. The utility from it is crazy. It is so versatile. Super strong. So now we are on Kunimitsu. And this is a character people might place higher. She saw very, very notable nerfs in patch 5.0. The biggest nerf for me was while stunning 1-1, but I hated that move, so I'm kind of happy it's nerfed. She has a pretty stupid full crouch mix-up, you know, with the sweep. That's homing and hits 2 meters away into a guaranteed 4-4-2. Used to be able to have a safe mix-up here into damage and frames while setting 1-1. Used to be safe for some reason. -8, I believe. They made it unsafe. Yeah, people do while standing 4 now. And if people have slow reactions, you can even up forward 4. Up for bow! Knock down into 4-4-2. But I think most people who have really fast reactions are going to see that. It's kind of slow. I think it's like 7 frames. It's kind of slow. Or is it 25? It's 24. But that's still slow enough for people to fuzzy. But you can do up 4-2 to mix you up. Well, that's a jump into a low. So Kuni saw notable nerfs. I also believe this is a character where if you know the matchup really well, she's much less powerful due to how gimmicky she is with crazy setups, unblockables, string pressure. But this is also a character where I wouldn't be surprised if people rate her higher due to her set mix-up. So that's her ninja dash in. Like, Hachaka! She can still do a safe, very fast 2 button. That's a mid counter at launcher. She can still do a very decent slide from that. The full crouch mix-up is still reasonably good. She still has broken movement. That has to be said. The backdash is ridiculous. Sidestep is very strong. That is also combined, just like Zafina, with a very long reaching down for 2 that launches, obviously. Kunai setups are still there. They are still stupid. Her 2-2 is still ridiculously strong into mix-ups. Super spammable. Oh, I forgot to mention another huge nerf, and it's her power crush. And honestly, this is one of the big reasons why I feel she's much weaker now. That back to power crush was the best power crush in the game. But now at least on hit, it doesn't wall splat anymore and knock down. They removed that. It still screws a mid-air opponent, but it doesn't knock down wall splat. And thank God for that, due to how strong it is. So that's a big nerf. But outside of that, still very solid, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think you could place her higher, but I would not be surprised if those nerfs really hold her back. But yeah, is she stronger than King? She very, very well could be. So again, take everything here with a grain of salt, but I think the Kuni nerfs added up a bit. So now we come to a section of a tier list where there are big question marks, and these two in particular. I have a really hard time doing an assessment of these characters. But there's no doubt these two pay-to-win characters went from gods to huge nerfs. Like gigantic nerfs. And well-deserved. Like Lidia, dear lord. Like Political Storm was arguably the best string in the game. Like, what did they do to it? Every hit that used to be -10 in that string is now -14. -14. And the entire string jails now. So what that means, the last hit, the 4th hit didn't used to jail, but it jails now. So what this means, I know this is a concept a lot of people aren't familiar with, but let's say you have a strong 14 frame punish. If you see a Lidia start a Political Storm on you, while you're blocking, block the first hit. And after that, mash your 14 frame punish, right? With Paul, for example, I would be mashing back free, which is my launcher. As I'm blocking, I'm mashing back free, and no matter how many hits she does, as soon as she's done, be it 3rd hit, 4th hit, 5th hit, my back free will come out immediately and launch her. So now, 14 frame, you just mash that punish. With Law, you'll be mashing 3+4. La 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 la, and she dies. It doesn't knock down anymore, which is really big. It does give the new wall crush property at the wall, but you'd much rather keep the old knockdown and the neutral. So that's a big nerf. The biggest nerf, however, in my opinion, is her hell sweep. It went from a decently generous clean hit reach to get the 2 follow-up into the throw animation. Now it has no reach whatsoever. You can test this in practice mode. It has no reach. You have to stand right next to them. Tiniest movement by them away from you and you die, basically. You're in such a bad position. Gigantic nerf. God, her 12... Oh god, and if it does connect, she's slower on recovery now, on hit. So much less OP. Her forward 2-4, 12 frame, punish, doesn't knock down, doesn't wall splat. This is also a nerf to her blue spark block guard break, where she got a guaranteed, you know, either political storm or forward 2-4 into wall splat. So now she can't wall splat there anymore. So that's a big nerf. Her sidestep 4, which used to be her, you know, really good keep out tool in the neutral. Sidestep 4, tag them coming in, launch on normal hit, launch on counter hit. It doesn't launch on any in any situation now. Big nerf. I believe 1-2-2 and down for 2 on hit has them further away from you, so the mix-up situation is less advantageous. Down back 2, which is a key low. It's her Dragunov style, you know, tracking low, does less damage, and this is a low they've already chopped at multiple times. Her back 4-4, sweep type low. Any iteration of that low, you need to be in clean hit reach now for it to knock down. Didn't used to be like this before. God, what else did they do to her? Oh my fucking god, yeah, her very abusable string, you know, the kick 1+2 blue spark, where she screamed ha, kick ha, blue spark, you know, where you would go, oh my dear lord, never do that string again, please. That went from safe on block, huge pushback, to no pushback -10. So it's not safe anymore. You no longer have to duck the second hit. And it also has no pushback on mid-air hit. That used to be her hop kick combo. That used to be her ender to get the wall. So no pushback on hit, no gigantic distance gain in a combo anymore. So it's not... that's a big nerf to her wall travel. Her hop kick saw reduced damage. It was honestly, her nerfs were like endless, the list of nerfs. But yeah, it's have I forgotten about something? Cat 2-4 now has clean hit. Yeah, but low, right? Have I missed anything? Like they really went hard on Lidia. To me, the biggest nerf was the hell sweep. Leroy and Lidia are still top 10 main man. No. No. We're not. Nope. But yeah, let's talk a bit about Leroy. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if certain players put these guys even lower here. But that's not what I'm doing today. I still feel a bit unsure about them, so I'm just keeping them here. But Leroy also saw big nerfs. Big nerfs. Okay, so where do we start? His 12... I mean, Jesus, what nerfs he got. Like, back 3... is no longer a launcher. It just knocks down. Back 3 simply knocks down. It's not even a countered launcher. And it's a high. 17 frame high. So that move serves no purpose now outside of in certain combos using it as a screw option. But even that, I guess, people don't do. So that move now has no purpose. His his forward 2-2 high in the neutral, that's a mid launcher, is now launch punishable at -15. They did the same to fucking Ram's forward 1+2. That's now launch punishable. Okay. His back 1+2, his 1-inch punch. His 12 frame mid launcher is now punishable at -10 and bad pushback. So, well, but that was deservedly so, I feel. His back 4 no longer gives +11, I think it did. It gives +5 now and no longer wall splats. His 1-1 10 frame counter string 1-1-2 1+2 no longer knocks down. No knockdown. So now it's a wall crush. So that's a nerf. His orbital on whiff now recovers 3 frames slower. So if you whiff that orbital, they have 3 more frames of tagging you. God, what else did they do to King J's boy? Oh, his back 2 parry when you do the 2 follow-up, the normal poo. It's now -9. It went from -9 to -10, so it's now jab punishable on block if you happen to delay it a bit. But that's not too significant, I feel. What are other big nerfs to him? Didn't they nerf another low? God, I love this track. Damage was nerfed on some moves. Huh. But yeah, I think those were the big ones. The real questionable one was back 3 in my opinion. But other than that, he remains pretty damn solid. If you know what you're doing in combos, he still gets like 100 damage. 104 from an orbital. He still has a 33 damage wall combo. His hermit options are still very strong. The parry is still really good. He still has a homing hell sweep. Down 3-2 is still, you know, like Hwoarang. Blap blap, what, +8 natural combo, low high into the powerful hermit stance. Pimpkin is still there. Still has a demon point, forward 1+2. Back 4 is still strong. Homing option. Still has really good 14 frame punish and 1+2 1+2. He still has an orbital. Oh, and I love his back 1. 11 frame high. Ha! Huh! But on counter it does 41 damage. Leads into a throw. That's still really good. Suddenly I was 6 years old again. So yeah. And damage is still there. But I do want to stress that these two are still a little bit of a question mark for me. They could be higher. Wait, they could be lower. They could seriously be lower. Are you dying, sir? Yeah, I've been talking non-stop for 2 hours. I am about to die. All right, so now I'm on Hwoarang. Hwoarang is a character I'm going to dedicate a video to probably pretty soon. One of the characters that changed the most going from Tag 2 to Tekken 7, and in terms of like dumbing down a character, he's the worst offender. So I'm gonna make that video. It's going to be interesting, but you'll see how people play Hwoarang in high level. So first off, you have a really good keep out attack in down for 2. Hwoarang's down for 2 is really strong, and now he has good movement and a very strong sidestep, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his movement is good. And you combine this with back 3, which is this the best whiff punish in the game? I think it might be. 16 frames fast, infinite reach, extremely low hitbox, will launch anything mid. Ridiculously strong. Watch K-Wiz play him. Noctis down for 2 is better. Maybe it is. But what? Okay, so he's top 2 then. But Noctis down for 2 is 1 frame faster. That is correct. Hwoarang gets more damage than Noctis though. I'm pretty fucking sure. So yeah, back free, like top 2 with punish in the game. So down for 2, back free. Backlash is dumb as fuck. Has really strong punishment. One of a few characters with back free that will launch, you know, Death Fist, Demon Uppercut, Heihachi's Fort for 2. Has an absolutely ridiculous 50-50. Down 3-4 is a nightmarish attack. It's just a nightmare dealing with Hwoarang's down 3-4. On hit, it gives what? Plus 14, I believe, into a super dumb 50-50. Where he can Hell Sweep. He can stand switch and do down 3-4 again if he wants to. He can do a back free mid launcher for gigantic damage. That's only minus 10. Or he can do 100 other options from Flamingo, basically. Because this guy, this Korean guy, lifts his right leg and now he has a million options. It should also be noted that if he does down 3-4 and you low block, you do the right thing, you can't immediately take your punish here, a while standing launcher, because he might do 4-4-4 machine gun kicks to counter it launch you. These come out immediately. Or he has a power crush now. So the mix-up situation he puts you in on hit and on block with down 3-4 is absolutely ridiculous, and it's arguably the most annoying 50-50 situation in the game, if you ask me. And has a million moves with gigantic frames, mids and highs, that put you into mix-up situations. And has enormous damage. Yeah, I don't know. What are his weaknesses? Oh, many of his best attacks, he has to do a motion switch to get to them. So there's some sort of gatekeeping on, in my opinion, the best attacks. And to force heavy pressure, he has to get up close to you. But other than that, I don't know. Ridiculous frames, ridiculous counter hits. Yeah, back one panic move, super strong. Backlash is one of the dumbest attacks in the game. Fort 4 Peacemaker, knockdown, very long reach, knockdown mid. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and he has a perfect throw game. 1-2, 1+2 break. Is a Taekwondo fighter, but he knows how to wrestle. Yeah, Hwoarang is really strong. He is really strong. I think he has a little bit of trouble coming in on you. Fort 4 is very steppable. He has to get up close to be hyper effective. So that's sort of a problem for him, but you can play him quite effectively defensively. And when he does get up close on you, it's hell on earth. I mean, for sure, a lot of the Flamingo options are weak to sidestepping, but he has a lot of options that clip you sidestepping. So yeah, there's a lot of mind games there. Yeah, very strong character, very strong. So now we are on Negan, a very interesting guest character. The only character in this game who's based on a real person, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and a real life character in a franchise, The Walking Dead. So interesting due to that. Another interesting thing about Negan is that, you know, true to the character, he's swinging around Lucille, his bat. And this means that he has a ton of reach on a lot of attacks where he swings this bat. A little bit like Noctis, who's also using a weapon, swords. But this also makes all of those attacks like legit unparryable, uncounterable. Because that's a classic Tekken mechanic. Like as soon as someone's wielding a weapon, like Yoshimitsu, you can't counter unless you're Leroy, Geese, or Jin, I guess, you know, the parry gods. So a character underrated a lot of the time, but his biggest strength to me is that he's so easy to play. His stuff is so effective with so little work, and he's the opposite of execution. There's none of it. So he's very modern Tekken character in that way. And also interesting is that in terms of ease of use, like his combos work from almost any axis, like launching back turn, launching to the side. You can do the same staple combo almost in any situation. And you're also very beginner friendly in that his mix-up options from intimidation stance are so easy to use and so tricky for the opponent to handle. So there's so much ease of use with him, where I feel like he should be more of a tournament character. But we don't see him a lot, and it's because he's quite steppable on a lot of attacks. Quite steppable. And his homing moves aren't all that. Unless the Negan player opts to manually go into intimidation stance and use a super fast backlash. 1+2, where he does a 360 swing with Lucille. And now you have a high, safe on block, power crush launcher. It's legit a backlash. It's very strong. And intimidation stance overall has some of the craziest mix-ups in the game, in my opinion. With like +7, I think, on block. Mid. That's very fast. I think it knocks down on normal hit. It's a Lucille swing. Knocks down into lights out. His throw stomp for like 40+ damage. He can do a 1-2 mid, double mid, punch Lucille, mid, guaranteed on counter it. It's very fast. I think it comes out at 13 frames. You can Twitch confirm this. If you see them doing anything, you can confirm the first hit into the second one. Wall splat. He has an unbreakable throw from intimidation. He has a huge class 1 launcher from intimidation. He has a low from intimidation, that's what, +3 on hit, I believe. On counter it gives huge frames. Or does it knock down into 4-4-2? No, I think it gives huge frames on counter it. He has an unblockable from intimidation. He has kicks from intimidation that are very interesting in terms of frames, very advantageous. Intimidation stance has a built-in low parry that does a ton of damage and launches. Intimidation stance is super interesting. Super interesting. Down forward 1 is very strong. His down forward 1. His down forward 2 has ton of reach. He has safe counter hit launchers. He has safe normal hit launchers. His down back 4 on counter hit. His down back 4 alone is a really good low poke. Fast, huge reach on counter it, puts them back turned for a mix-up that's very powerful. Lot of good counter hits overall. A strong punishment. Huge reach on standing 15. Huge reach on while standing 2 15. His punishment, it's like his while standing 2 punish is a 12 frame. With good reach, mid. But it's like 35 and it's like +7 on hit into intimidation. Punishment is crazy on Negan. Very underrated. 1-2 can go into intimidation. Great mix-up utility, be it stance or from standing. Can throw a launching power crush anytime he wants with huge reach. Back 1+2 is a great frame trap attack. Knockdown mid, normal hit, launches on counter hit. Again, like the real weakness on Negan is that a lot of the buttons you can step easily. And the homing attacks are not that good unless you're throwing backlash from intimidation. But outside of that, like, he is one strong character, and that's also very tricky to deal with and very, very beginner friendly. So Negan to me is very strong. And his combos are big on wall travel and pretty damn solid on damage. And his rage drive has very interesting utility. And best key charge in the game, has to be noted. And rage art and win poses and intros that last forever. So if you want to be a bit cheeky and you don't like hitting the start button, you can drive people insane with that character. Xiaoyu, a character I feel like I don't need to discuss too much, is a character that punishes the hardest lack of matchup knowledge. And she's so unique and so tricky that getting good matchup knowledge on Xiaoyu is ridiculously hard. There's just so much time that goes into it. And she's so rare that you're going to have to sit down with a Xiaoyu expert and go over it with them. So one of the hardest matchups to learn, and just one of the trickiest overall. And again, punished by the fact that you never see her. So if you don't know how to approach her, blows you up for free. If it's not Art of Phoenix, and she goes invincible, she has 9 million attacks with built-in crazy defense. It's a bit like Asuka, except Asuka does the same thing much, much easier. Much easier. With Xiaoyu, you actually have to take some time to take a look at the stuff. Where Asuka, you press back 3, you do a parry that lasts forever, you do cans. So with Xiaoyu, it's a little bit trickier, but extremely flowchart based. Xiaoyu players will take forever in practice mode, like Yoshi players, labbing, should I go from C to F to G to Z? Just building these crazy flowcharts for Oki situations. Xiaoyu and Yoshi both have, as soon as they knock you down, extremely tricky Oki. Where Marduk and Kazuya have godlike Oki, but they're more straight to the point. Like, I'm gonna 50-50 you, tackle you, or forward you, hit you grounded. With Xiaoyu and Yoshi, it's never that simple. It's like, oh, I set up an unblockable that launches you or knocks you down. Or I just jumped over you into back-turned cross-up, launches. So they're way more tricky, gimmicky in their Oki. But you can't say the Oki is worse. Like, absolutely unbelievable Oki. If you don't know what you're doing against this character and you're just mindlessly tech rolling, you are dead. You're just dead. So I think Xiaoyu's biggest strength comes from that, because in terms of combo damage, it is much less than average. And the poking department and all of that isn't bad, but there are problems with reach and there's problems with damage. But granted, she has some stupid stuff. That new attack she got, like down back 2, very strong. Her back turn down 3 knocks down since like, what, 2 years back? Or was that a season 3 or season 4 buff? That was pretty big, I felt. Yeah, don't underestimate her though. I think someone could easily place her higher just to how tricky she is, and does have some decent buttons, and is just so unbelievably evasive. And certain characters like really struggle against her. It's like, I wouldn't want to play like King or Armor King against this character. So many of your moves will fail to hit her, and it's like, oh, one of my biggest strengths is I'll grab ya, Missy, Tennessee wrestling. Like, you can't grab Xiaoyu. She's constantly, I mean, at no point in the match will she have a high hitbox. So it's like all your throws is just out the window. And if you don't have mids to tag her in Art of Phoenix, you might as well just skip the matchup entirely. So a lot of characters are going to struggle with that. But yeah, I think that's what I want to say about Xiaoyu. But it's also something I believe that these Xiaoyu fundamentalists you see, and hats off to them, but they keep playing her. They are real character enthusiasts, but I wonder how much of the tournament success she gets due to people just being question marks in the matchup. That is always a factor with her, and it's a factor with Zafina. It certainly is a factor with Kuni as well, and it is a huge factor with Lucky Chloe, and it's certainly factored into this win at Tekken World Tour 2018. I certainly believe that is a thing that has to be taken into consideration. So next character is Eliza. The only 2D character that hasn't seen her meter gain nerfed. Gains meter much faster than Akuma and Geese, resembles Akuma much more than Geese, has pretty terrible frames on pokes and the neutral in general, is all about the 2D bullshit, but the 2D bullshit is strong. Gains meter very fast, can do a bullshit 2D jump into dive kicks to fucking launch you if you whiff or do anything, counter it, launch you. EXDP has some of the best wall pressure in the game, like ridiculous wall pressure, unseeable down 3 into 50 damage wall splat, as a mid homing to mix that up with, but safe. Back 1 2 is actually a good 14 frame counter it launcher. Resembles Akuma in that she has an unseeable, you know, clean hit down 3 that launches if she has the meter in the neutral, just runs in super, she just launched you. Has good damage, is quite evasive, also very rare, has gimmicky stuff that can catch you off guard with a very fast unblockable capital punishment. I love it, Viper. I love that you asked me why is Paul top tier, where you could just watch this video on YouTube later instead of me again having to explain it. You know, I'm already quite a few hours in here, so if you just watch the video, that would help me a lot. What is good? Link the YouTube. You know, with my time machine, I'm gonna travel into the future and I'll link you the video. But right now, I haven't called Tony Stark yet. I haven't got that time machine yet, so I'll link you once I've uploaded this to YouTube. Dear Lord. Oh my God, the time machine is in the chat. I want you here, man. Why are you in the chat? I need you right here. Where was I? Eliza. Suffers a lot due to not so bad pokes and stuff. Frames aren't very good. Relies too much on 2D gimmickry. Relies too much on gimmicks in general. Suffers I mean, this character, if you remove the walls, again, like 2D wall bullshit, remove the walls, he's still a god pretty much. Remove the walls on her, she suffers like crazy. But again, if walls are there, she's amazing. But yeah, there is no reason. It's like, in terms of, you play Eliza because you really like her design. If you want to win and you like 2D and fireballs, you know, you go Reppuken or I don't know, Misuds. I don't know what he said. You go for one of those two. Okay. So now, okay, I'm gonna take some more water and then it's Spanish Man. Pakistan thinks Eliza is really underdeveloped and undiscovered. Yeah, but she got nerfed really hard, right? They removed down 1. counter it. They removed her, they nerfed her a lot. She used to be up the tier list. She used to be high tier, I think. But I mean, she's still upper mid tier, I think. She's not bad. So now we have Spanish man Miguel. Arslan downgraded Eliza to mid tier. I put her in mid tier. Okay. I still think if you have unbelievable execution, you can still get crazy stuff out of her, but yeah. Miguel, a character that has seen some quality buffs lately. In this patch, they actually gave him a safe counter hit mid launcher that cannot be parried in his knee. Upward free from Savage stance. That's a really big buff. So, you know, in Savage, he'd usually do hatchet, but down back free, but just keeps him in Savage. For big plus frames. God, my brain is melting. I'm gonna keep saying plus frames. Soon it's gonna be permanently plus frames because I'm getting so tired. But he can keep forcing pressure with that continuous hatchet down back free. Now, if you ever want to challenge those frames, he can go upward free, which is now a safe counter hit launching very chunky mid. That's a pretty damn huge buff to already a very strong Savage stance. Holy shit! I remember how many buffs Savage stance got in season 4. But overall, a character that has also really good buttons. He does struggle a little bit in reach with jab, down forward 1. But down forward 1 has good mix-up utility built into it. His forward 4 has insane reach. His magic 4 has really good reach. His down back 3 has really good reach. He has pretty powerful strings. But the character is mainly Savage stance, I feel. Savage stance 2, super chunky, safe mid that wall splats. Has pretty devastating combos. Really good panic moves now. Back forward 1 is really good. 11 frame counter it launching high in back 1. What else do we have, Miguel? Oh, up forward 1 is Superman punch is pretty good. Big plus frames. I mean, the character is basically Savage stance and the pressure you get from there. Oh, the new 12 frame punish. 4-2-1. Great reach, great damage, and plus 10. Plus 10 into neutral or plus 10 into Savage. That is a big buff. That is a great punisher. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else I want to say on Spanish, man. Hopkick has a lot of reach. Good movement. It's like he's not really... He has a lot of good stuff. And Savage stance, especially now, really stands out. But if he's not in Savage stance, this character is nothing exceptional, right? But that's why he's in upper mid tier. But Savage stance is really powerful now. Really powerful. And again, like, if you have the execution, how much damage does he get from Savage damage free counter it? I mean, you can do forward 2-1 there, right? Into a guaranteed low. Yeah, 64 damage. Like, how is that not completely busted? Granted, you have like 2 frames of leniency, I think, but the character has some ridiculous stuff. All right. So now I'm on Ganryu. And this one, I love how many characters I've gone to, and I'm like, this is gonna be a short one, and then I still talk for like 29 minutes. But Ganryu, some of the most oppressive pressure and frames in the game, if he's up close. Down for 3, one of the craziest lows. Back to 1, shenanigans, his jab, etc, etc. 10 frame headbutt that knocks down. Like, if he's standing close to you, you know, he has crazy frames and crazy counter hits. But man, if you move away from him, he's just not that good anymore. Which is why you see him so rarely in tournament play. He has a very long reach down for 2 though to whiff punish with, and it also has a built-in mix-up where you can do jabs afterwards. Otherwise, it's unsafe. So it's a little bit of a mind game, but down for 2. And he's very gimmicky. If people don't know the matchup, he'll run all over you. But if they know the matchup, those gimmicks aren't very helpful or strong. And doesn't have a throw game really, even though he's a sumo wrestler. I don't believe he has a 1 or 2 break. Or does he have a 2 break? Does he have a 1+2 and a 2 break? Correct me here, everyone. But gains a lot from being the least played character in the game. Like, people don't like Ganryu. He's literally at the bottom. Yeah, he only has 1+2, right? He's a sumo wrestler, but he doesn't have a throw game really. It's just as puzzling as Gigas. He's this gigantic beast monster where it's like, oh, he should be throwing us around, right? Only has a 1+2 break. Puzzling. But yeah, Ganryu, bad reach, more gimmicky than anything. Keep him away from you. Doesn't have a 10 frame jab, only 12 frame jabs. Yeah, nothing exceptional about Ganryu, in my opinion. Heihachi is a character I love Heihachi. I've been underrating him a lot, I think. Hardest character to play, but I don't think he's mid-tier. I think all of the buffs have added up. You know how long reach down jab into back 2, one of the best strings in the game. Long reach down for 1 into etc. Super oppressive highs. Electric is busted as well. Super oppressive mids, like the most oppressive in the game. Forward 3, -2 counter hit launcher. Back 4, safe mid, counter hit launching mid. Demon uppercut is dumb as fuck, especially in certain matchups. Hunting hawk, I mean, you name it, you know what I'm talking about. But the problem is opening people up. Doesn't really have a throw game. Doesn't have lows. We like to say the worst lows in the game, but honestly, I've been thinking about this, and that hell sweep doesn't do a lot of damage on normal hit, right? But what does it do? Right? Unseeable low. That's homing. It is homing. A lot of people don't know this. And it's +8 on normal hit. So it basically sets up, you can't do anything, can't press. Forward 3 is gonna trade with a jab and you die. So it's still his turn, right? And it's kind of free because no one ducks Heihachi. So you'll do that low. And it's also a low counter hit launcher. If it counter hits, an electric picks up. That's not a terrible low anymore. And he can also, you know, set up a 50-50 with it, where he does the low into another low, but now launches on natural. Or he does low while standing 4, that's now +8 on hit. That's not a terrible low anymore. So, yeah, I've been re-evaluating this character, and the jab is so strong now in terms of reach, ever since Season 4. Same with down forward 1. And electric still being stupid. He still does above average damage. He still has a launching punch parry. Great counter hit utility. Yeah, he's not mid-tier. I think Heihachi is upper mid-tier. And, you know, 10 frame wall splat. 1-1-2. Yeah, I think I've been underestimating him quite a bit. So now we are at Lili, another character I've been underestimating a lot. I think historically I've put her in mid-tier. Have I put her even at low tier at some point? I wouldn't be surprised. Lili has best movement in the game, tied with Zafina. I don't think even Zafina has as powerful of a sidewalk as Lili. They're either tied or Lili has a better one. Rail thin hitbox when she sidewalks. I think she stepped homing attacks in Tekken 6. I don't know if there still are homing moves she could step. But I think they fixed that. But for example, like she can step famously Devil Jin's laser cannon, which is why Ni played Lili against Kudans in like season 1. But some of the best movement in the game, and I think that alone doesn't make you low tier. Some great buttons in down 3, down forward 3, forward 4 is a safe, ultra long reach counter at launching mid. Has some decent lows in general. Good mids. Forward 3 is a counter at launching homing mid, albeit with kind of bad reach, but still. Yeah, down 1-2 is now a natural combo low that goes into back turn mix up. Really good whiff punish. Reaches from far away with her hop kick, Matterhorn. Down for 3+4, her cartwheel is a very long reach, launching mid. Her punishment is really underrated. Just like Jin, she has a 2-4 that wall splats knockdowns at 10 frames. Her 12 frame punish, I don't know if it's the best in the game. Like 4-2-3, super long reach, 12 frame punish that does big damage and wall splats, knocks down. A 15 frame, the hop kick reaches super far. While standing punishment is pretty decent as well. Her damage is really high. Anytime she launches you, she does far above average damage. And the wall combo is very hard hitting as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's like in the hands of someone who has really good fundamentals. Like you have good movement. You know how to counter hit in timing. You know how to react to a whiff. I mean, she's very, very solid. Yeah, so... And you know, anytime she launches, it hurts a ton. So I think Lili has been very, very underrated. So now I'm at Asuka. Oh, how lovely that I have the best friends together on the list here. So Asuka now has a 10 frame in 1-3. It's the worst 10 frame punish in the game, but at least she has one. She used to only do a jab. I'm kind of sad to see that go, to be honest. It was such a cool thing that she didn't have a 10 frame punish. But best built-in defense in the game, I guess, if it's not for Ling Xiaoyu. That character defends by doing attacks. Literally, she defends by mashing, doing attacks. So one of the easiest characters in the game to pick up and play, but at tournament level of play, it becomes quite different. Suddenly people aren't mashing into you, so now you actually have to go in. And here, if they're just backdashing you, there's not a whole lot you can do. You have a 50-50 with no reach, with a knockdown, down 1+2. You have some good counter utility in up for 3 while setting 1+2, down for 2, like many other buttons, like really good counter stuff. But if people aren't mashing in on you, the stuff is kind of underwhelming. But the frames on this counter stuff is really strong, and he has multiple parries that do a ton of damage, launching parry, good buttons in forward 3, down back 3, great counter hits. Counter utility is really good. and has a 50-50 if she can get up close, but a launching mid in 1+2. Decent throws, has a 2 break, 1+2 break, has a launching throw. Yeah, counter hit is sick with Asuka. Like full crouch down for 2, full crouch while standing 1+2. Has super high damage, especially in rage with the rage drive. But yeah, has trouble opening people up who aren't pressing. Bad reach on a knockdown low that guarantees forward 2. 10 frame punish is really weak. Has a super good power crush in forward 1+2. Probably one of the best. Biggest drawback, I think, is having to listen to her when you play her. Bokeh, bokeh! Always a problem, I feel. Very distracting. Strong. Strong, solid character. But if you're playing against a very patient player, it's difficult, I feel. So that's my take on Asuka. So now Noctis loses Kylem. Done really well in tournaments lately. Cherry Berry Mango seems to have dropped Jin in favor of Noctis. And everyone says, what? Noctis is not strong. He's stronger than people think. And there's also a US player who's done really well with him. Fiddledix? Don't really remember the name. But he's done really well. And Noctis is a very basic character. Very basic. He does single hits, almost a little bit like Claudio. Single hits that have reasonably good... he hits very far, like Negan, with swords. He's got a lot of reach. Single hit attacks with a lot of reach, sometimes good frames and decent damage. But not a whole lot of bullshit. And sometimes gives up his turn. You know, forward 1+2. Good reach, counter hit launcher, homing. Gives up his turn. But he has a 13 frame, up forward 1. Counter hit launcher that's safe on block. Sidestep 2 is cool. Down back 2, you know, reactable against good players. So suddenly for a low, you'll be doing down 2. Or you can add a second hit. You can do full... his best low is full crouch down for 2 in my opinion. It's just a very solid low with good frames, counter hit utility. It's down, he has the longest reaching 15 frame punish in the game with down for 2. So anything he blocks, no matter the pushback, if it's minus 15, he'll launch it. So there's a lot of reliability there. Consistency that's good for tournaments. Bad reach on jab, bad reach on down forward 1. Little bit gimmicky. While running 1+2 has huge plus frames, 11 on block, tracks more than it should, launches on normal hit, can do a forward roll into a wall bounce attack or into a slide. So, you know, a little bit tricky stuff, but good punishment. His 2-2 options are strong. He can just swing 2-2 into a counter hit mid or 2-2, 2-2 to try and, you know, mess with you a little bit. Is remarkably strong against one of the more popular tournament characters. Well, not very... he's gonna get more popular now, not to doing nerfs. His 2-2 very reliably floats him out of any jump or demon flip. His forward 2... projectile beats any fireball. So he has some interesting things going for him. But, you know, carried by long ass reach, good frames, decent counter hit utility, good combos, but not a whole lot of bullshit like string bullshit or any of that. So he's quite clean in how he plays, but very solid. Shaheen. It's a character I don't know if he should be that high, to be honest, anymore. But oh well, he's there. Extremely honest. Extremely boring, in my opinion. Strong down for 2. One of the strongest hop kicks. 4-1 counter hit. Magic 4, quite punishable though. Has an orbital, but he mixes up with a slide. Resembles Law's 50-50 quite a bit, you know, slide or safe orbital. Not that Law has an orbital. Decent pokes, very honest. While standing 1, poke and counter it gives a really meaty follow-up, and while standing 3-3. Decent combos and wall travel. There's just nothing exceptional about Shaheen. I place him this high just because of strength of down for 2 hop kick. Reasonably strong 50-50 poking. Counter utility is decent. But honestly, I would listen to someone who would place him lower than this. So one has to factor in that he's very rarely seen, and I do not play a lot of Shaheen. So take this with a bit of salt, a grain of salt, if you will. Yeah, I immediately disagree. I guess here, I think you'll see Anna more than Shaheen in tournaments. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. So Anna is very unsafe. Literally can't poke without taking risks. Very, very unsafe, but damage monster. And literally a tornado of death. With unseeable mid launchers and unseeable low launchers. It's basically this guy, but without the execution and without the safety. So it's a coin flip character where she gambles with her life constantly. But if she gets the reads, like if she has the reads on you, on how you're going to block, you get destroyed in 5 seconds. You're just gone. The damage is so high. And everything launches. And has some pretty cheap gimmicky strings that will be dealt with in high level. But yeah, coin flip the character, everything launches, a ton of damage. The pokes are unsafe, but if they hit, you know, it hurts. She gets frames. Has some tricky stances with mix-ups. Has some throw utility. Quite oppressive at the wall with what sidestep 3. I mean, to be honest, you can summarize her in very high damage and 50-50. I think that's it. 50-50 launch. So now we are at Armor King. Armor King got... he got an overbuffed low in forward neutral 2. It went from not a very good low to just unbelievably strong low. A lot of people will put him here in mid tier. I put him here because I believe he has the tools to compete. With good movement, this guy has unbelievable whiff punish with dark upper, forward 2-1, shoulder, hop kick. If he controls the space well, he can, with his very long limbs, keep you out with down forward 1, down 4. If he knows how to work the space in between you guys, it can be really difficult to go in. And back 4, the Stone Cold Stunner is a long-reaching, very beefy mid. His punishment hits really hard, be it whiff or block punish. He has some of the best throws in the game. His damage is absurd. He gets 80 damage without the wall. At the wall, he can hit you even harder with down 2, 4, 3 into mix-up. Really good mix-up. Good counter it. Back 1, down forward 3, forward neutral 2, down forward 3. Down 3 is a great low poke. His down forward 1 is excellent, I feel. Forward 4 is a really good wall bounce. His sidestep 4, such a good mid check. So much reach. If he counter it counter hits you with that, he has a guaranteed burning knuckle setup for half-life. He has a lot of burning knuckle setups that hurt like a motherfucker. Has viable chain throws. That is a 50-50 from wave dash. You can't tell from the break. Has a shining wizard. Good Oki. Forward foot free is a what? Normal hit launcher plus frames on block. Yeah, I don't know. I think this character's underrated. This character is strong. How subjective are these tier lists? Oh, Steve Black's tier lists are completely subjective because they are the opinion of the person who makes them. A tier list is always subjective. Always. This is post-patch, yes. Is there anything else I want to mention here? I think that's it. I think that's it. Nina. Oh, this is also one where I'm... oh no, my porn folder, please. Yeah, this is also one where I'm a little bit unsure. Has crazy pressure, crazy wall travel. If you have the execution, high damage. Good throw game. I mean, she's basically pressure. Going wild with pressure and cancels. I don't know. Like, if people really know the matchup, is she that good? But she does very high damage, and her rage drive is really good. She can get crazy frames. She has good pokes. Down back 3, down forward 1. Has a complete throw game. Viable chain throws. Oh, and her poison breath on hit guarantees a launch. That's pretty good. Has an orbital. But she has problems. Like, her down for 2 has bad reach. Her while standing 2 has bad reach. But yeah, there's some crazy pressure attacks like forward 3. Poison breath is 50-50. 50-50. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna say take it with a grain of salt. But she is stronger than a lot of people credit her with, I think. All right, so now we are in the bottom 12. So here, okay, Dragon, we are now at mid tier and low tier. Why is King better than Armor King? Yeah, you're going to have to rewatch this video. I've been going at it for 3 hours, dude. I can't repeat myself. But rest assured, if you've missed any of my yapping on these characters, you can rewatch this on my YouTube in just a few days. It should be up. Okay, Dragunov. Extremely power-crept character. While running 2, this character is very honest. He's about like 3 attacks. Down 2, back 1 plus 2 while running 2 is basically the character. While running 2 has been nerfed in multiple iterations, famously losing its tracking, or a lot of it tracking, making it significantly worse. So that's a problem. One of your key attacks is very steppable. There is a lack of, and combine that with a lack of homing. Down for 3 plus 4 is almost reactable, like fuzzy reactable, his mid homing. But doesn't do anything, doesn't counter at launch. This ties into lack of counter it utility on Dragunov. You have a while running 2 counter hit launcher, but that's it. Almost nothing else. And this is in a game where that's kind of important to have. So for homing, he has 1 attack that serves 2 purposes. It's his low mix-up, force people to duck a little bit more, and it's his homing move, down 2. It's just such a key attack. So down 2 is vital for Dragunov. That's his low. That's his only low. And that is unseeable. It does some damage. It is neutral though on hit, meaning if both of you, if you do a while standing 4 as Dragunov and your opponent dick jabs, he will hit you out of that. So that's important to know. But on counter hit, it does give like significant advantage, like plus 13 or something. But that down 2 doesn't fare so good in tag 2. If you low parry someone, you can't screw them, you can't bound. In this game, getting low parried hurts like a motherfucker. A lot of characters have designated now 13 frame while standing punishers, making it hurt a ton. So, and again, down 2 is often not reason enough to get someone to block low. It can be difficult. So yeah, while running 2, being hurt a lot, getting power crept like crazy. Your only low is down 2 in Tekken 7 Season 4. That's a problem. Lack of counter hit utility. He has some of the best wall carry, but his wall damage is below average. It's just below average. It does like 17. His designated wall combo. When he pressures at the wall in patch 5.0, you can do forward 3 for like plus 20 or something on block. You can mix that with while running 2 or up forward 3 for his quick jumping toe wall splat. But the problem is all you have is down 2. That's it. You have all of these amazing mids and highs, but down 2 is what you have. Yeah. I don't know. I can't see the character as very strong compared to the utility many of the other characters have. And he feels way too honest. Way too honest. Still has down back 4 for quick low. You mean just a generic low? Isn't that minus 13? Yeah. And minus on hit. So next up is Jack. Jack could definitely be stronger than Dragunov. So again, take this with a grain of salt. We're just like this. So Jack was buffed a bit in this patch 5.0. But I don't know. He got an easier option from Jackhammer forward 1 into plant some seeds. You know, down forward 1 plus 2 is an easy 20 damage follow-up. His Rage Drive debugger is slightly faster. While stunning 1, more damage now. If he hits you with while stunning 1, you can up 1 plus 2. But outside of that, down forward 1-1 is a counter hit launcher. If you ever hit anyone with the second hit of down forward 1-1, that now counter hit launches. So to me, I don't know. Are those super significant changes? But again, you might see some Jack players place him way higher. I just still think he's way too honest in a very dishonest game. But granted, these characters are all closer to each other now. I mean, except for these 3. Yeah, Jack, super honest. Strong throw game, has good reach, great backdash, lackluster sidestep. Has some good frames on full crouch down back 1. But I don't know. Takes an extremely strong Tekken player to make him work. He's just way too fundamental and honest. Has literally no bullshit, in my opinion, at all. But yeah, with a strong backdash, you can a strong sense of mix-up. You can do some great things with him. But there are characters that do what Jack does simply better. Oh my god, and now Kazumi. Wow, this character has seen a huge fall from grace. Used to be super strong, but after a few years of Arslan dominating everyone with her, my god, did they chop away at her. Her down forward 1, her magic 4, her back 2, her down back 4, her down back 4, I think it was nerfed like 4 times. So they just chopped away at all of those key attacks until all of the attacks you use with her are just... they're not even a fraction of what they used to be. But we're still okay, right? And she still has decent good movement. And her wild running too is still strong. It's just that you're in a game now where everyone has crazy damage and you don't. In the neutral, her combos don't do a lot of damage. At the wall, she doesn't have a lot of damage anymore. And if she's playing against a female character, she has no damage at the wall, almost. But the biggest problem for me with her is lack of launch punish. She has the worst hop kick in the game. So, and that's her 15 frame punisher, and it has no reach. So many times, and that's what she does for a 15 frame while standing punish as well. So it's just so many times she just can't launch punish the opponent. And that's a big flaw. Big flaw. And that's just very honest gameplay without the tools to really compete. I mean, to me, Alisa is the same type of character as Kazumi, but on steroids, yet again. If you want to play this same type of character, you're either going to play Alisa or you're going to play Zafina. Amazing movement with great fundamental buttons and just much more. Much more. These guys can play the same game plan as Kazumi if they want to. Movement oriented, punish, spacing. But they have many other types of game plans they can use. They can even go a bit bunga if they want to, with chainsaws or crazy evasiveness and strings. All she has is movement, 1-1, confirm, 1-1-2, down for 1. Oh, low poke, low poke. Magic 4. But that's it. They can match her quite well there. And they have more damage as well. I mean, certainly a better punishment. So... Okay, so now we are on Lei. This is a character that could go way higher. To be honest, I almost feel like placing him here. But oh well. Let's keep him... to be honest, he's good. He is good. Very unique movement options in haha step. Yeah, I feel like he should go higher. I'll put him there. Very unique movement in haha step. Can lay down on the ground into mix-ups. Very powerful down forward 2. Forward 3 is a super good whiff punish. Razor rush, crazy mix-up situations. Crazy mix-ups overall. Homing hell sweep. Homing hell sweep into meanie juggle. Safe mid launcher into sidestep 4. Can do snake now into 4-1, into just crazy pressure situations. Tiger 50-50 is batshit crazy. Has decent damage, wall carry. Yeah, what else should I say? What else can I say? It's like... He is crazy good, but you need to utilize his movement well. But he's crazy good. Yeah, I think the best Lei in the world is a Pakistani player. But I'm gonna speed this up now. We gotta finish this video at some point.
TMMda.
Oh, what's his name? Yeah, African Lei player. I think he even beat Ni in Tag 2 at some point. Akon. Kaiser, thank you so much for 5 months. I really hope you're doing well. And great to see you. Where was I? Ahsan Ali, that's him. He's super good. So that's a Pakistani Lei. But let's see. Lars. Just not very strong. Weak movement. Super good defensive abilities though in evasion. But block punish and whiff punish is really strong. Launches at 14 frames with forward back to 1. Needs more counter hit utility. Desperately needs a counter hit launching mid. That's safe on block. Now, most of his best options and counter hit launchers are found in stances. Big problem for him. Weak lows. Really weak lows. Very steppable. Famously very steppable if they step to the right, for example. Very punishable, constantly taking risks, but has seen improvements. Has some of the best combos in the game now. Very damaging wall combo, infinite wall carry, so when he does launch you it hurts a lot. Okay low in full crouch, down forward 1+2, decent down forward 1, some poke utility in down back to 1, etc. Has a 10 frame string in 1-1-1, but actually decent, actually good. And some counter hit launchers. Hell Sweep has seen some buffs for free. And you know, some good panic buttons. Back 1 is a good button. So in my opinion, he is mid tier. But he would be low tier if it wasn't for the ridiculous combo utility. Yoshimitsu got arguably the biggest buff in this patch. 5.0. Forward 1+2 being a counter hit launcher is ridiculous. This is a character that should only be about Bunga, and now they gave him a really good counter hit launcher. Safe on block. I think it's like -7 pushback. Very long reach. Knocks down a normal hit. Big damage. Counter hit launcher and a huge launch as well. Very powerful Bunga. Very powerful Okisemi. If he has you at the wall, he can do the most ridiculous flowcharts where you feel like you can never get up on your feet again. It's just unblockable this, unblockable that, hits you while grounded, blah, blah, blah. It's never your turn. If he has a good read on you and he feels you're gonna press, even if you have plus frames, like even if you've done a hatchet on Yoshi, you're +5 with Bryan. If he does that goddamn flash, he'll clip you. So extremely unique. Has on paper like crazy stuff. Flash is broken on paper. Unblockable sword sweep is broken on paper. It's just that he's held back by some pretty lackluster frames and lackluster fundamental tools. But now we've given him a forward 1+2 counter hit launcher. His damage is not very good either. But I would say he's mid tier. Not low tier. Katarina got some decent buffs. Down forward 1, full crouch, down forward 4. God else, what else was notable? What else was notable on Katarina? Katarina got buffs to her tits. Pretty sure they were rather large even before this patch. The Bazungas. Back 1-2 new wall splat. Right. Back 1-2 wall splat. So what does she do well? She still has a good magic 4. She still has very high damage, especially in rage. Her rage drive is ridiculous on the wall. Forward 2-4 is still good. Hop kick still good. Downward 1 is decent. But man, I don't know. Not a strong character. Not a strong character, in my opinion. All the chunky stuff is either steppable or very unsafe. But yeah, she's very straightforward to play. So I'm not gonna spend too much time with Katarina. This is one I might live to regret, placing her here. You could place her in mid tier. I talked about this prior to the recording actually, but Josie, you could place her here, you could place her here, but she's not a very strong character. She relies 100% on the opponent either not knowing the matchup or being very impatient and pressing into you. That's literally it. Just pressing into you. She breaks a turtle not by using throws or a guard break, but by doing a sway mix-up. So sway 3, sway 2. But the problem with this mix-up is that if you don't apply any delay to it, to me it's fuzzy guardable. Due to a 3-frame delay and an audio cue when she does the low. So I can only imagine if you have super fast reflexes. I wonder if people can actually see that low on reaction. Someone like Arslan, who blocks a down back 4 on reaction, I think he might see that shit on reaction. And also, when she does that sway, she's very vulnerable to magic force and shit, because it comes out at 20 frames plus, and she doesn't have a great deal of high evasion during that. But yeah, she's too much about opponent not knowing the matchup, pressing into you. Yeah. But again, you could place her in mid tier for sure. Oh, this one is very interesting. We're finally here, and it took 3 hours and 12 minutes. But this is truly one of the most interesting moments of making a tier list in patch 5.0. Because this guy literally just dropped from here. He literally tumbled not 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down. And this might seem like an over-exaggeration, but it's not. They killed that guy. I think it's the first time that hyperbole actually lives up to... Yeah, fair enough to say he's dead. Like they used to say, you know, on Twitter, like when Devil Jin gets nerfed, Jin, Geese, he's dead, he's the unusable crap, oh my god, I'm never playing him again. With Hwoarang, it's actually a 100% legit to say that. Because he didn't get nerfed, you know, and sent to the ICU, the intensive care unit, like Leroy and Lidia. He was sent straight to the morgue. He died. Like, they went overboard with Hwoarang. I think the most notable example of the over-nerfing of Hwoarang is 3+4, his mid kick that knocks down a normal hit, you know. And it comes out in like 18 frames, I think, and counter at launcher. That went from -9, like you completely lose your turn. It went to -11. And this is where I'm just scratching my head, like, why is this -11? Why is this punishable? And at first I was like, well, right, he's got a really long leg. So what they mean is be a bit careful about where you place it. Stand like 2 meters away and they block it at tip reach and now it's safe. This is not the case. Even Kazuya with his weak jab can block at tip reach. range and do 1-1-2. Do you know why? Because Fakum Ram's extended hurt box with that leg kick, it's even there during the recovery. So no matter what, that is a -11. And I can even back 1-2 at Kazuya. So I'm just sitting there like, right. That's -11 when Leo has a Boki down 1 that is faster, also has good reach, mid counter at launcher, that's -2 on block. And now it's like, so fuck around 3+4. It's not terribly fast, and it's -11. So it's a very, very puzzling nerf. So they removed that counter hit, and then they removed his magic 4 for some reason. So he doesn't have a magic 4 anymore. If you do a standing 4, they just on counter it. They just stand there. Like, oh, sorry. Did you tickle me? So he no longer has any safe counter hit launchers from neutral. He still has a bottom 5 sidestep sidewalk. It's useless. You can't step stuff other people can step. God, what else did they do? They removed the damage from down back 4. They made down back 4 launch punishable. They removed his back 1 14 frame punish. Bonk. No follow-up. No 4-4-2-1. So now it's useless. Nice. Free. You know how when you're at the wall and you try to do a guard break, you do 3-4-3 hold, blunk, guard break, and they go into the wall and you get a wall combo. There, they have time to either sidewalk, the guard break, charge up, or they can, you know, try to counter hit you. Did you know he used to have 3-4-3 here as a counter hit option to splat you on the wall? This doesn't counter at launch anymore, so you don't risk anything now trying to jab in between. Sorry, at least not... No, it doesn't wall splat anymore. It doesn't knock down. That's right. I think you can actually jab there, risk-free. I think I'm correct. I think you can jab risk-free. Let's see, what else? Right, so down back 4, no damage, launch punishable. 3-1-4, launch punishable. 3-1-4-4, launch punishable. What have I missed? What have I missed? Alright, 4-1 plus 2 launch punishable as well. All his lows are launch punishable basically, right? Not downward 3. Downward 3 is still -13. But it's -2 on hit, doesn't do a lot of damage. But the big problem also with all of his lows is that there's no high evasion. He's completely open to, you know, magic 4s, electrics, Steve back 1. Etc, etc, etc. He keeps his back completely straight, no matter the low he does. Oh, Masood, I mentioned back 1. I know some of you will be surprised at seeing him in low tier, but believe me, you will see more people than me put that guy in low tier. Believe me, I will not be the only one. Bottom 5 sidestep with no safe launchers in the neutral. No 14 frame punish anymore. Everything unsafe. The lows have been like chopped at until there's nothing left almost. What you still have is a pretty gimmicky guard break. And a downward 1 into a twister mix-up with 5 options. But that can't save him. It just can't. Oh, and for some reason, they've nerfed his rage drive like 3 times. And they nerfed it yet again the dual knee rage drive to the point where now, if it hits in the neutral, it does like 37. A rage drive that's +1 on block does 37 when it hits. And I'm like, okay. So everyone else has a rage drive that does like 50 fucking damage. Or it's like +7 on block. Fucking Ram. Hey, here's your +1, 37 damage. Okay. So they really wanted to nerf this guy, and yeah, they sure did. And again, you'll never see him again in competitive play. You'll never see him again in competitive play. I hope this video will get some timestamps on YouTube. Oh, I'll have my editor fix that for sure. Gigas, a character I fought for a while, was mid-tier, but I feel like I don't know, I guess I overvalued him. He has some nice stuff and like long range 1, great 1+2, 10 frame, down 2, long range 15 frame, down for 1, long reach. Some cool stuff, but it's like, doesn't really have much more. Super huge hitbox, sitting duck, no movement, gigantic combos on the wall, not very good frames, doesn't have a throw mix-up, only has a 1+2. Its down back 2 key low is reactable at 23 frames and -14 on block. It's like, that is not good. My god, what does he have? People are unfamiliar. Foot for 2 is pretty cool as a demon paw. But that dude does not have much, man. Yeah, his key tools are 1, 2, while running 2, forward for 2, down for 1, down back 4 maybe as a low, and down back 2 as a low. But again, that's reactable against really strong players. So yeah, it's not good. And his movement is too trash. It's just too bad. Lucky Chloe. I mean, maybe could be higher. We have a Lord of Chloe watching here, I hope. Kaiser was here a while ago, resubscribed at least. Extremely gimmicky. Carried a lot by the fact that a lot of people don't know the matchup, I think. But I think if you know the matchup, the tools are kind of crimp. She's not that bad. I mean, what is she? She's down for 1, back 4, sidestep 4. Kaiser thinks she's mid-tier. Yeah, but honestly, when you put a character in mid-tier, you're not crazy if you put them in low tier, in my opinion. You can, you know, it's so subjective, this shit. I promise you, you're going to have people putting Armor King in like low tier. It's like, he's fucking useless. Does a problem with tracking mids. His tracking mids are bad. Needs a homing mid. He needs King's forward 1. He's useless. I promise you, you'll see someone do that. But I don't know. She seems more gimmicky than anything. Her tools don't seem that great. Damage is ridiculous if she gets the launch, but I think that's it. Oh god, now we're here. Oh yeah, we only have 2 characters left now. I'm at 3 hours and 23 minutes. Holy shit. Kuma's very gimmicky troll characters, like extremely gimmicky troll characters. No one knows the matchup. No one knew the matchup at Tekken World Tour 2018. Then everyone learned the matchups, and then Rangchu is nowhere to be seen. Basically, I don't even need to spend time on this. One of the gimmickiest and trolliest matchups in the game. But once you learn the matchup, they are unbelievably punishable. They eat gigantic combos, especially wall combos. Certain characters can do infinite wall combos on them. Lee, Alisa. Lee's is more reliable. Yeah, extremely gimmicky characters. And now we are at Eddy, who I consider to be the worst character in the game. So he's a Tekken character that doesn't have a sidestep or a sidewalk. That is a problem in a game where you're supposed to be able to step certain attacks. That's a key feature of the game we call Tekken. It is a 3D fighter. You have to be able to step. He can't step. That is a big problem. And then in terms of his gameplay, he has lackluster hitboxes, lackluster frames. Everything, almost any entry he has into Negativa when he's in relax on the ground or handstand, he always pretty much gives you a free float. If you play certain characters or a free punish, he's always very negative. Anytime he tries to 50-50 you, not only is the low option launch punishable, but even the mid option is launch punishable. And his combos are bad. It's a little bit like playing Ana, but it's a more difficult Ana, and there's less payoff. In that regard, I feel they are quite similar there. But Ana's a sidestep. It's a key distinction, and Ana's a throw game. Just a character where he'll stomp low-level Tekken, but as soon as he's in competitive play and people know the matchup, it's like it is not fun for Eddy. Strong backdash though, nice whiff punish launcher and down for 3-4, but I really struggle to see anything positive about Eddy. A positive thing is hats off to Korean genius Yonding. He played that guy in Evo finals, top 8. He actually played Eddy Gordo against Geese Howard, and that was pre-patch Geese Howard. That's legit to me the worst character in the game going up against an overpowered character. So really hats off to Yonding. Like, what an exceptional talent and creative player to make that shit work. Yeah, he beat him as well. But that is testament to Yonding. Not so much testament to Eddy being a good character. But we've seen this before, you know. Rangchu. I mean, Kaiser is an example of this. Shady CR has worked his ass off with weaker characters. Mob in Europe, Russian players done really well with Lars. Oh, Katarina, God, what's his name? European Katarina player. Didn't he win an LCQ with her? I think people do well with Katarina. Gerlanda, right. And US player Junia, yeah. Why do you make such short tier list videos? I'm always in a rush with these. I don't know, I just can't help myself. I just, yeah, I do 10 seconds per character. But there's so many characters that 10 seconds per character added up to 3 hours and 29 minutes. But yeah, to me, this is the right way of going about it. Because if I was watching a content creator make a tier list video, I would want to hear in fucking detail what makes my character tick. And why are they good or why are they weak? And I'm so tired of other, like, of pro players or other content creators going, oh, Asuka, all you do is press back 3 and you win. Oh, she's strong. Lars, launch punishable lows. Am I right? Enough said, enough said. Double Jin, electric is broken. Not gonna lie, top tier. It's like,
Hello, Mama.
that's literally, that is literally way too many content creators. That is how they choose to sum up a hyper complicated thing as a Tekken character. It's like, I can't stand it. I don't know how many times I've watched them and it's like, oh, I'd love to hear why he plays Negan that high. But down for 2 has a lot of reach and back 1+2 is a +4 on block mid. And now let me talk about Xiaoyu. AOP is so strong. Oki is good. Eliza. Fireballs. I'm sitting there like, honestly, too often. Way too often. So I'd much rather do this, which I think is much more respectable to the audience, respectful to the audience. I'm not insulting your fucking intellect. It's like, I care a lot about this game. I know a lot of people who follow me care a lot about this game. And they want to hear about their own character, at least a few fucking sentences. How strong is my character? How weak is my character? How does my character work? Well, here's at least 2 fucking minutes on your character. Yeah, honestly, I find it insulting. It's not Vinicius. Hey, thank you so much for 2 months, man. Really appreciate it. Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. But okay. 3 hours and 30 minutes later, I'm finally done. Those of you who made it through the whole thing, there were none of you. But you're dehydrated and dead now. So I hope you had a great life. I really hope you did. But thank you so much for listening to me, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm quite happy with this list, but there are certainly quite a few characters here where you could go, boop, boop, you know, move them one bracket up or down. It's very subjective, but I hope you understood my takes at least, and that you found it at least slightly informative. That would certainly make my day if you did. So have a great day.